So this is a pretty straightforward template. You're just going to let the client know how you're going to communicate, what the first steps are, how the project's going to start, what they need to know on their side to get things going. But what's important here is only send this once you get paid. A lot of freelancers think that, oh, they're close to paying, the deal's nearly locked in, so let's go ahead and get the project going because this will get some momentum. That is a mistake. Don't do that. Make sure that until the deposit is in your account that you're still focusing on selling. Close that deal, lock it in, get paid the deposit or the full amount depending on the deal. And when that money is in your account, then send this template and get things going. So pretty straightforward template, but send it at the right time after you got paid. And if you aren't paid yet, don't kick off this project, don't get things started. Keep the focus on closing the deal and just getting them to lock in and pay you the money that you need to kick things off. So hope this helps. Put it into action. Okay, project milestone update. This is a pretty straightforward email. You're going to send this when an important stage, an important part of the project is now complete. You're letting the client know. If you need to request some changes, you can just quickly add that into this template. If it's more just letting them know, hey, this is now done, we're moving on to the next stage, then just send this template as it is. Keep in mind that this form of the template is when there's no issues, there's no clear problems or anything that you think you need to mention. If there is any problems or if you see any issues, then jump out of this section, check out the project issue section, and you'll see different versions of this, or when maybe you need to request more feedback or their input or some changes or whatever it is. So use this template when things are going well. If there's any sort of potential issue though, check out the other section and there will be other versions of this. Okay, so setting up a client meeting. Sometimes throughout the project, something comes up and either there's a problem, there's a challenge, you want some feedback, you want some input, whatever it is. Use this template to quickly send it over to the client and get a call lined up as quickly as possible. I suggest that you have a calendar with your available times so that you can then just put it in the email. It cuts down on excess communication. But if you don't, suggest some times or ask them what's a time that's good for them. And then either they send you a link or you send them back a link. So all pretty straightforward. And yeah, just use this when you need to talk to the client. You don't want to do this every couple of days. Obviously, we don't want to be pestering the client. But when there is something important that it's just not going to go so well with email, set up the call, talk in person or talk online, whatever it is, and just get through it as fast as possible, because the goal here is to keep moving the projects forward as quickly as you can. So if you need to do this, use this template and hope that it helps. Okay, so weekly or monthly reporting. Sometimes you're doing a very large project that's going to continue on over time. It's going to take quite a bit of time to get finished. Or other times you're getting paid by the week or by the month. And in either of these cases, it's very, very good to check in weekly or monthly, depending on the sort of project that you have. The idea is to let the client know what is going on. So if a client is paying you a lot of money or a certain amount of money and they just don't hear anything from you, that's not necessarily good. Even if you're making a lot of progress, it can still cause them a lot of anxiety because they just haven't heard from you and they have no idea what is going on. So it makes sense to check in regularly, let them know what's going on. Even if everything's good, which is of course perfect, let them know it's all good. If there's any challenges you faced, if there's anything that's slowing you down a little bit, if there's any sort of problems, bring it up, let them know that you're working on it, let them know what you think is going to be the best solution. Or if you need their input or their feedback or whatever it is, just request that and then you can keep moving things forwards. But overall, the most important thing here is regular, clear communication about the progress of the project so that the client knows and is aware what's going on. They're after giving you money or they're giving you money. Where is it going? Is progress being made? Is this on track? What's happening? They want to know these sort of things. So use this template when it makes sense and just have that clear communication so the client is up to speed and they know exactly where the project is at. Okay, sometimes you're working on a project and the scope or the timeline has to change. That's totally fine as long as you have clear communication with the client. Use this template to let them know what's going on, why did this happen, what changes are going to have to be made, what that means for the project and what that means for them and the sort of results that they're expecting. Now, in this particular template, we haven't discussed budget. That's more of a project issue. So if you have to adjust the budget, go check out the project issue section. But if it's just a scope or timeline, oftentimes that's totally fine to do. You just have to let the client know the situation. So use this template if it's not too big of a deal and it just is what it is. But if it's a project issue, go to the project issue section and then you can see how to deal with a more serious situation. So hope this helps. Best of luck. Okay, extra resources requests. So there's been a lot of time over the years when I'm helping freelancers that I see them say something like, hey, I'm working on this project and I'm getting these sort of results for the client. But if I could do this extra thing, if the client would pay for this extra thing, I know we could get way better results. But they don't think that they should tell the client for some reason. You definitely should. So if you're working on a project, you should let the client know, hey, this extra piece of software, this extra tool, this extra whatever can get you way better results. And they don't have to pay for it because you've already locked in on the deal. And if they don't want to change the deal, that's totally fine. But you should let them know about this option. If you see something that can definitely increase the results of the project, make it easier for them, tracking, reporting, results, conversions, whatever it is, it's just going to make whatever you're doing better. Let them know and see if they're open to you setting this up, getting it for them, whatever it is, and just let them know what the costs are and of course the benefits and the purpose. Now, sometimes you got to get them to set it up in their own name. Sometimes you can set it up for them and you can just add it on to the price of the project and include it in the budget or in the final invoice or whatever. Depends on, of course, does the software have to be in their name or is it a tool that you can download once and you can just set it up for them? So I'll leave that to you. You obviously know the particular circumstances, but use this when it comes up to just let the client know, hey, are you open to this idea? It's going to make the project better. Here's how, here's what it costs. What do you think? If they go with it, perfect. If they don't, that's fine. Just continue with the original project plan. Okay, informing the client of anything that could be potentially risky. So in this section, we're looking at project management. A huge part of that is staying ahead of potential issues. So you see an issue, you don't wait till the last minute, or you don't wait till it's actually now a problem. You try, see ahead and prevent it from happening in the first place. So if you see something coming up that could be potentially risky, some kind of problem, maybe it's going to get the project off track or something's going to break or it's not going to work or it could lead to the wrong sort of results or in the wrong direction, let the client know in advance what's going on. If you can identify the way forwards, just let them know, hey, this is why we're changing things. This is why we're going in this new direction. If you need their input, if you need their feedback or their approval, then obviously ask for that as well. So use this template when it comes up. The overall idea here, stay ahead of anything that can slow down or destroy the results that you're trying to get in the projects that you're doing for your clients. So really hope that this helps. Best of luck. Okay, draft review feedback. So this is basically you got to a certain stage or a certain part of the project and you just want to make sure it's all good before you move ahead. That's very important because you don't want to move through different stages. Then the client spots something in a previous stage that they want to change and now you're going back and forth. The project's slowing down, you're doing a ton of extra work and any changes that you're making are impacting all these other parts of the project that didn't necessarily have to happen. So get approval for the stages that you're working in before you move ahead so that you don't have to move backwards. And to do that, just use this template whenever it makes sense to get approval or feedback or suggestions or whatever it is at the stage that you're at. So check out this template and need it. So check out this template and use it when you need to. All right, meeting, recap, email plus next steps. This is the easy move to do that's super high value. Basically, anytime you have a meeting with a client, you talk about something on Zoom or whatever system you're using, just recap the meeting, put it in this template, send it over to the client within a couple of hours, at the most 24 hours, and just show that you got it, you were listening, and that you both agree that this is what's going on, what the next steps are, and what direction the project is moving in. Highly recommend that you do this so that you have a written record of what you talked about, because it's very easy if you don't write things down to misremember, or the client thinks one thing and you think another thing. And then a couple of weeks later, you figure out, oh, we're actually thinking about different things. We had different goals in mind, we had different expectations, and now you have all these problems. So anytime you talk, put it in writing, send it to the client, and now you both have a record of what you're both agreeing on, what are the next steps, what's going to be done next, what direction things are heading in. So really hope that this helps. Use it anytime that you have a meeting and send it over to the client as soon as possible. Okay, delivering the final draft. This is a template that you will use after you've made the final changes that maybe the client has recommended or that you've spotted yourself. But either way, you've discussed certain things in the project that needed to be done until it was finally complete, ready to go, project's finished. And this is the template that you're going to send as you deliver that final version or draft or whatever it is. So use this, send it over. There should not be any more changes at this stage, but if there is, you can just catch those and complete them according to your contract. So we'll have the contract section in here. Use that to dial in your contract. But in this case, this is what you are going to send once the project is done and you just want to send over that final version. So hope that this helps. Hope that this gets the project completed. But any issues, check out the project issue section within this course, or check out the contract section to just dial it in from the beginning for future projects that you're working on. Okay, project review and future work. This is a nice little template to do two things at once. Okay, project review and future work. This is a really nice template to achieve two goals at once. One, you're going to get them to just confirm that they're happy with everything, they're getting good results, everything's been good since this project went live. The second one is you're going to suggest some things that they could now do next. So this isn't a hard sell. You're not like super pushing them to do this, but you're just going to say, hey, now that we got this done, we can see some results, we can see this feedback, we can see how the customers or clients are behaving, whatever it is. Now that we have this initial results, what about now doing this next thing that could help in this other way and get you even more results, even more benefits, whatever it is. So you're using a review to kind of get your foot in the door and just lightly suggest some new possible things that you could also work on for this client that gets them even more results. Maybe they say yes, maybe they say no, but why not take the chance, see what they have to say. And if they are interested, start lining up a sales call and start locking in the next deal and doing even more work for the clients that you're helping. Why not? Basically, they already hired you to do some work. If it's getting results, push for a little bit more and see what happens. All right, what is up? Welcome to the 100K email blueprint. Really happy that you're here. My name is Rob. So what I want to do in this welcome video, in this temporary welcome video, is just basically introduce you to the course, tell you what's currently in here and what is yet to be added over the next few months. So first off, this course is not completed. I really wish that it was, but it's going to take me quite a bit more time because there's a lot that I want to add in here. So that's why I have this launch deal, why you're after getting in at such a good price, is because there is enough in here to go out there and start getting results straight away. But there's also a lot more that I do want to add over time. So I have the launch deal. You guys get in and you get all the updates for free as I continue to build this out. So what's in here, what's not in here, let's take a look. So right now you'll find at the top of your dashboard some sections that already have quite a lot of different content. So these first 6-7 sections already have content in here. This is good to go. You can go in here, you can start using the lessons and the strategies and the templates right away. Then as you go down, you're going to see that there's also a lot more sections which are not yet added in here. So these sections will be completed over March, April, and May, and I'm aiming to have everything done by the end of May. And there is a lot of different content that I want to have in here. So I wish it was all done right now. I've been working on this thing nonstop for quite a few weeks, and this is the stage I'm up to right now. So this is why I wanted to open it early, get you guys in here, get you testing this, put it into action, getting initial results, and then using your feedback and just keep adding in more templates, more training, more content over time, and very, very quickly build out this whole course. So I hope that you're really happy with what's already in here. I hope that you can put it into action, get really good results. And then as these sections release, we'll just keep improving things, keep making it better, keep leveling up the results that you're getting. So that's it for now with this very quick welcome video. Go ahead, check out these first few sections. Let me know what feedback you might have. You can just email me back and I'll have details in the course on how to contact me in other ways and give me feedback. But use these sections for now, put them into action. Really hope that they help, and a lot more is coming soon. So welcome once more. Thank you for getting the launch deal. I'm going to work hard to make sure that this is the best email course that you've ever taken, and very quickly we'll get the whole thing completed. So that's it for now. See you in the rest of the course. Okay, so if you bought this email course, but you're just getting started in your business or you're just about to start, this is the section for you. In this section, in the portfolio stage, I'm going to show you how to get your first few projects, get out there, get some clients, and most importantly, start getting some results. Once you get results, there's a lot you can do when it comes to selling. It's going to help you to send bigger and better cold emails to bigger and better businesses and just get their attention, because you can show them, hey, I'm doing this, I've already helped some people, these are the results that I'm getting, and here's how I can help you too. But to do that, we have to start at the beginning, and that is the portfolio stage. We just have to get out there, get a few projects to get that momentum going, get some real results going, and this section is going to show you how to do it. I have a lot of different techniques that should make it super easy and fast and effective to get your first couple of projects with the right people, to do the right work, to show your potential to help other businesses in the best way possible. So if you're ready to go, let's jump into it. Hey, what is up, and welcome to this quick portfolio stage training. So if you're watching this, you're probably at the early stages of your business, and I am sure that your goal is to start getting profitable, working with bigger, better clients, making more money, and having a successful business. You see the money in your bank account growing and things are good. So how do you do this? I want to break it down, my approach in this quick training, and just show you what I've seen over the years work a lot more successful than other approaches that don't work all that well. So what I've done is I've come up with this diagram, and I want to show you how to get from where you are now, so down at this level here, to where you want to be, which is your goal amount of money, as fast as possible. So picture this line here as your goal amount of income. How do you go from where you are now to where you want to be? So let's break down the main ways that people think this is done, and which ones to me work and which ones don't actually even matter. So first one, location. I've taught a lot of different freelancers in a lot of different locations, and some freelancers think that just being in a location is going to help them a lot. So maybe they're in the US or they're in Western Europe. And then other freelancers think, oh, I'm in this country, I'm in this region. People here just don't get paid all that much, and this is going to hold me back. To me, it actually does not matter all that much. Okay, there's some small advantage being in the right location, but really anybody in any location can definitely build a highly successful business by just not actually focusing on what location they're in all that much. You have to be aware of where you're starting for sure, but long-term success is not going to be about where you're based. Just because you're based in a good country does not mean that people are going to pay you well. Just because you're based in a not so good country, and I don't like using that phrase, does not mean that people won't pay you well. You can be based anywhere on the planet, and if you're running your business correctly, if you go through the portfolio stage correctly, you can very quickly move to very high paying work. And I'm going to show you how I would go about it in this video. Okay, next thing is credentials, and this comes from just the past 100 years of high level education. Back in the day, everyone would go to university, and this was pretty much a guaranteed way to make a lot more money. Nowadays, that mindset still carries over, where people think, oh, if I have a degree and higher level training and all these certificates and all these courses, that people will start paying me more. And often that is not the case. As time progresses, it's actually becoming less and less the case, because there's just so many people out there with so much education that people who are hiring and people who are paying, especially freelancers, just don't really look for this anymore. They don't really care so much. They're not looking at your credentials, at your qualifications, at your degrees, at your certifications. You've taken these courses, you've taken this training. They don't really care all that much. Now, does that mean that they're not valuable for you? No. If you're taking the right education, I take a bunch of courses. You guys can see all the books here behind me. I get coaching, I join these masterminds. I'm all about that for your own skill set. But just going to a client and saying, hey, I've taken this course and this training and I'm getting coaching from this person, it's not going to get you paid directly. Clients just don't see that as a strong enough reason to justify paying you money. By itself, it's good for you to have it, but just saying that to a client is unfortunately not going to get you paid. So for me, this one is not the main thing to focus on to get you to your goal income. Okay, what about experience? I mean, if you have a lot of experience, you've worked on a lot of different projects, you've been in the game for a couple of years, does this mean that people are going to start paying you more? I would also argue no, and don't worry, I'm not going to say no to everything here. But to me, experience in of itself is not actually the main thing. I've seen people in the industry freelancing 10 years, maybe even 15 years, who are still not making that much money. And I've seen people come in and in just a few months really jump ahead with how much they're getting paid. Again, when a client goes to hire people, experience might seem like a huge advantage, but actually it's not that much of an advantage. And if you don't have experience, there's very quick ways that you can get paid a lot more by just doing things in a better way. So if you're watching this and you have experience, okay, perfect. You can try use it to your advantage. If you don't, it actually doesn't matter to me all that much with trying to get paid more. And there's other things that you can focus on a lot more. Okay, next up, sales skills. Do sales skills matter? Now, if you know about me and my experience, I love to teach sales skills. Sales skills is also something I personally love. I've used it to succeed a lot in my business. It definitely is something that can really, really help you being able to sell well and understand what clients need and why they need it and what their problems are and what goals they have and how to make a deal together and how to price it correctly. But do sales skills in of themselves get you paid? To me, this is also a no, and this hurts me to do it because sales skills are such a valuable skill. But in of themselves, they actually do not directly get you paid. It's more of like facilitating the deal, but they are not the main reason that clients will pay you. So what is? It only leaves one thing here. It is results. Look, when clients decide who to pay a lot of money, who to work with, who to trust with their business problems, who to start just giving more money to because they're capable of getting them the results that they want, it is people who've already gotten other people results. This is the main thing that clients want to see one way or another. It's how they decide, should they work with you? It's how to decide how much money they should give to you. It's how to decide should they keep doing business with you. It's down to results. So what does this mean? It means that to grow your business as fast as possible, the main thing to focus on in the early stages is how you can start building results. The more results you can get, the more new clients you can get, the more then you can get even more results, the more you can leverage that to get even bigger, better clients who'll pay you more, and so on. It's a positive feedback loop. Getting more results gets you more clients, gets you more results, increases the amount of money you can charge. So all of this is to say, quite simply, that the main goal of the portfolio stage should not be to get paid straight away. It should not be to start flashing all your credentials. It should not be to over focus on your experience or your location. It should be to get results. Go working with the right people, doing the right projects, showing what your skills can do in the marketplace. You can solve real problems. You can help businesses in real ways. This is what I can do. This is how I can help you. I just helped this person over here. Now maybe I can help you also to do these other big things. So this is the main goal. You got to keep this in mind. You don't want to just go out there in the portfolio stage and be busy working with a bunch of random people doing random stuff. You want to think of what can you offer? Who is the best place to go help with the skills that you have? Where can you just apply yourself in the best way to solve the biggest problems, to show the maximum value you have, to build the biggest results? The more you can do that, the quicker your business is going to grow. And by far, the quicker you're going to get to the goal income that you have. So not to overwhelm you with this, but just keep this in mind. As you're selecting the clients, as you go through this portfolio stage and you look at the different templates, keep in mind, who do you want to be working with? Where is the best place to use the skills that you have and to gain more experience and to solve the right problems? Don't just go working with anyone. Select the right people in this stage. And the more you can get a good base level of results right now, the more it will speed up everything else in your business in the future. And the faster you can move to the sort of income that you want. And then the faster you can go from there and aim for even higher income and an even bigger, more profitable business. So I hope this quick training helps. Go through the rest of the sections in this portfolio stage, work with the right people, solving the right problem, getting the best results that you can with the skills that you already have or can quickly learn. And very quickly, your business is going to start to grow, to get more profitable, and to move to those bigger projects that you want to get. So that's it for the training, and I'll see you in the rest of the section. Okay, when you're starting your business, close friends and connections might be a great place to get your first project. Now, you do have to be careful. You don't want to just work with anyone because they say yes. You still want to make sure that you're picking the right clients. So people where you can use your actual skill, they have a real business, they have a real problem. And when you help them, you're going to get a result that you can use later to sell to bigger and better businesses. As long as you see those things and you see that the person is suitable, you can send them this template to see if they're interested in working with you, being one of the first projects that you do, and why that's good for them, why it's good for you. It's a win-win, and this template will show them that that is the case. So put this into action. Just make sure to send it to people that you actually should be working with in the first place to move your business forwards. As long as that is the case, this template should help you to see if they're interested and if you can form a deal. So hope it goes well. Put it into action if it makes sense. Okay, past business connections are a great way to get one of your first few projects. And this can also lead to some nice paying projects, but that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. If you want to work for free, totally fine. If there is money on the table, why not take it? But what's more important here is that we're getting big results to kick our business off and then move things forwards. So past business connections, what is it? Any business you know in the past or that you know right now. Might be a business that you've used, might be a business that you worked with, might be a business you connect with it in some way. Maybe you've hired them in the past, maybe you've just been in their location, you know some of their staff or you know the owner, whatever it is. Look at all the businesses that you know right now and over the last few years and then see, do they line up with the sort of clients that you want to work with that are good for your business? And if they do, then send them this template and see if they might be interested in working with you at this stage, and this template will show them why that's a good deal for them as well. So hope it helps. Best of luck. Okay, personal interest is just another nice little technique we can use in the portfolio stage. I use this really well when I started my web design business. I contacted a pro surfer. I used to surf a lot. I use that commonality to get my foot in the door, to get a great project, and then I leverage that project to get a lot more projects. So think about the things that you're interested in. What's just something you know, like maybe a hobby, an interest, pastime, something you've read up on, or something you just are genuinely interested in, and then see, okay, is there anyone in that industry, is there anyone who does this sort of thing that I can kind of use this common interest
to get my foot in the door, introduce myself, and then see, are they interested in you helping them do XYZ? So look at what you're interested in, what do you know well, what can you kind of leverage that other people can't to get yourself in with some potential business owners. Use this template to do it, and I hope that it goes well. Okay, local businesses. So as humans, we tend to trust more the people who are located closer to us. So this template is using that principle. You don't have to use it if there's nobody located near to you, or you don't want to work with people located near to you. That's totally fine. Use all the other templates. But if you do want to work with local people, this is a template that's going to show them, hey, I'm based near to you. So maybe the same city, the same region, the same country, whatever it is. Hey, I'm based near to you and I would like to work with you. Here's a great deal. Are you interested? So this template will show you how to do it. It's a great principle to use in the early stages of your business where you don't yet have things that you can use like past results or past clients. You don't have that business trust. So you're more going to use your personal trust, and being located near to somebody is a good personal trust principle or kind of tactic that can be very effective. So use this when you do want to work with local businesses. See if it can get you a good response. If it does, try and move things forwards to a project and then leverage those results to keep moving your business forwards. So hope this helps. Check out the template, put it into action. Okay, sometimes in the portfolio stage, you're just out of other ideas and you need to get a little bit creative, and this template's going to show you how to do it. You're just going to pick some random business connection, and there's like a bazillion thousand things that you can put in here. Find some way that just connects the two of you, use that to open up the email, and then transition to just talking about this great deal you want to offer them, how you think you can help their business, who you are, and in what way you can move their business forwards. So check this out when you're kind of out of ideas, you need something creative to just get a few more emails out there and get these first few portfolio projects. Okay, so in this template, we're going direct. We're just going to basically say straight up, hey, we're reaching out to you. This is why we're reaching out to you. This is the great deal that we have to offer. Here's how we think it can help you. Are you interested? And that's totally fine, especially at this stage, in the portfolio stage, where the deal is so good. You're doing cheap or maybe even free work to help people out. They're getting a great deal at a great price. So sometimes you can just get directly down to business and just tell them what is up and see if they're interested. This template will show you how to do it. Use it when you feel appropriate. Just go in directly and say, here's how I think I can help you. Are you interested? So hope it goes well. Best of luck. Okay, online group members. This is another great tactic to maybe get a couple of portfolio projects going. Look at the different groups online that you're a part of. So a different Facebook group, a forum, a community, maybe you bought a course and you have access to the different members of that course. Whatever it is, find somebody or a couple of people who are in these different communities that you're in, and then send them this template to see, hey, are you interested in working with me? Now, of course, you got to pick someone relevant. So look for the right type of business owners that you want to be working with in the first place. But they're probably in there in some of these groups that you might be involved with. And if they are, use this template to get the conversation going and see if you can move things towards a deal. So check it out. If it makes sense, use it. If not, just use one of the other templates in this section. Okay, Twitter, LinkedIn, or maybe some other platform. Do you have an online profile on one of these big social media platforms? If you do, this might be a template for you to use. Now, it's not an email template, it's a post. You just stick it up on your profile and you see, are people interested in this service? If they are, if they start commenting or if they start messaging, start moving things forwards, try get that one-on-one conversation going. And if they're suitable, get them on the phone call or meet them in person and see if you can start moving things towards a deal. So pretty simple post, just adjust it for your own situation, of course, stick it up online and see if you can get some people interested. Okay, another online tactic here, not an email template, but just something that you're going to go posting on your personal profile. I designed it with Facebook in mind, but maybe you can use it somewhere else as well. And basically, you're just getting the word out there. You're using the power of your own network, so family, friends, connections, whoever it is that follows you on your personal page. You're posting this up and you're seeing, are one of these people suitable as a client, or do they know someone suitable as a client? In either case, when you start getting some response, just start moving it towards a one-on-one conversation, seeing if they're suitable, and then if they are, start moving towards a deal. So really hope that this goes well. It's designed for your personal Facebook page, but maybe there's somewhere else that you can use it as well. Okay, online groups or forums, sometimes there's a lot of our potential clients in there. If we can find the ones where that is the case, this is a template to use to post up in that group and see if we can get any potential leads. It's written in a way that's not that promotional, it's not that aggressive. We're showing people, hey, we're at the early stages, we want to help some people in this way. Is anyone interested? So usually you get away with posting this in a group, even if they had stricter rules, because it's kind of like you're the newbie and you're just trying to help and you're the underdog, and generally people let you get away with that. But check the rules, just make sure that it's allowed. It probably is, and sometimes it's better to just post and ask for forgiveness rather than permission. But I don't want to get you banned at the same time, so just check that it's okay. If it is okay, post this up. Once you start getting some response, start dealing with those people one-on-one, get the private conversations going, try get them on a phone call if it makes sense, and try move towards getting some projects if they are suitable clients that are good for you to work with at this stage. So hope it helps. I've shown some people this in the past. They've gotten really, really good results with this exact template, and here you have ready to use as well. Okay, this is just the short version of the other template. Again, using online groups or forums or communities to say, hey, we're just starting a business. We'd like to work with these sort of people. We want to help in this sort of way. We want to help people get these sort of results. Who's interested or who knows someone who's interested, and seeing if we can get anyone to respond. If we can, like always, start moving it towards one-on-one conversations, towards maybe a sales conversation or meeting up in person, whatever makes sense. And then if they are suitable clients, you see a clear way to help them to build up these results that you're trying to build in this stage, then try close the deal, move it forwards, and start growing your business. So really hope that this helps. It's a shorter version. If you want the longer version, just click out and find that other template. It should be right beside this one. Okay, social media DMs. We're sliding into the DMs. Here's how we're going to do it. We're going to use this template. And what you want to do is just go online onto whatever platform and find those people who you think might be suitable clients. Use this template to hopefully get some conversations going. The people that respond, start writing back and forth and start trying to move it forwards. So really hope that this helps. Of course, just go after those people in the first place that you would actually like to work with. Don't go spamming everyone. Just pick the relevant people that you feel are suitable clients for whatever reason, and that's going to make it much more likely that you succeed and much more likely to have a good conversation that actually leads towards a sale. So best of luck with this template. Hope it goes well. Best of luck. Okay, social media DMs, the short version. So we're doing what we're doing in the longer version, the other template that maybe you've already checked out. But if you haven't, what we're doing here is we're finding relevant people online. So think about the people you most want to work with that you feel your skills, your experience, your ability is going to just be in the best location, work with the best business. These are the clients you can help the most. Go find them online and then use these DMs to basically see if you can get a conversation going. The more you pick the right people in the first place, generally it just makes it easier because you understand them better, you can say the right things, you can have that better conversation that gets them interested. So with this approach, I'm a huge fan of keeping it relevant. Go after the people you think you can help the most and have a clear reason for the people that you're contacting. Just don't go online and start contacting everybody. Find the group of people that you can help the most and then use this template to do it. So best of luck, really hope it goes well. Okay, so welcome to this cold email template section. In this section, just like it sounds, we're gonna have a bunch of templates to go out there and start sending effective cold emails that get a reply, that get you having sales conversations, hopefully with these potential clients, and then moving towards deals, getting paid, great projects, and growing your business. So if you haven't, go back and watch the cold email training because it's gonna cover the strategy and technique that we're using here. But if you know what you're doing, or if you've watched that section or both, then jump into these templates, put them into action, and I hope that they get you a reply. If not, just go to the follow-up section of this email training course and use the follow-up messages to try get that reply, get the person responding, move them towards a sales conversation. So that is it. Jump into the templates when you're ready to go, and I really hope that they work for you. Okay, this template is all about using your past results, leveraging those clients that you've been working with, how you've helped them, how much you've improved their business, leveraging that into more paid work. So the strategy here is to take the best work that you've done recently or in the past, put that in your cold email and use that to get the attention and interest of other potential clients. This template will show you how to do it. Of course, this template relies on you having good past work. If not, that's okay. Use one of the other cold templates, but if you do have good past work, this template can be really, really effective. So check it out down below, and I hope that it goes well for you. Okay, when you're cold emailing, a great tool that you can use when possible is just try to build as much trust as you can. That's what we do other times we're showing past results or we're showing different things. We're trying to increase the level of trust so that they're more likely to respond and get communication going. Now, one thing that you can use when it makes sense and it's true is if you're based in the same location. Now, that might be in the same city, might be in the same part of a city, it could even be the same state, it could even be the same country or even continent if it makes sense. Lots of different contexts here. Use what makes most sense to you. If you're in the same area and you're targeting people in that area, why not let them know and try build some trust in that way? This template will show you how to do it. One little extra thing that I like to do here that you don't necessarily have to do, but if you can, it can work really well, is add your phone number in down the bottom, especially if it's a local phone number and they can see that it's local, because it's just proving that you are in the same area, and they might even reach out to you and then you just get that phone call going straight away. But even if they don't reach out to you, they can see that you're in the same area. So use this when it makes sense. It's a great tool to use. You don't have to use it. So if you're reaching out to people not in the same area, that's totally fine. Just use another template. But if you are, this is a great template to use, and it can be very effective showing that you're based nearby. Just builds trust naturally with people, makes everything else easy. Okay, nice little simple but effective cold emailing technique here. Something that you notice. So this shows that you're paying attention to them, you're paying attention to the industry, you see what they're up to, you see what they're doing, something you noticed about their business, some form of activity or something they did recently or something involving them. And you just use that to get your foot in the door, introduce yourself, say what you're trying to do or show some past results, and then see if you can get a response. So check out the different templates down below, use this and get smart with it, get creative, and it can be very, very effective. Okay, a principle in sales is no one likes to be sold to, but everyone likes to buy. So what does that mean when we're cold emailing? It means we don't want to just directly say to people, hey, I reached out to you because I want to sell you this thing. Are you interested? It's not very persuasive and it's not very digestible for the people that we're contacting. So in this email template, I was doing this thing. What we're doing is setting up a nice context to this conversation. The person getting this is like, oh, they're reaching out to me because this thing happened and they spotted this thing and now we're communicating. It seems very natural. It builds trust, it builds rapport, it gets communication going in a fun way. So to do this, all you got to do is to come up with a good reason about how you came across their business or found their business or why you're reaching out to the business, which is I was doing this thing, whatever the thing is. So have a good thing, have a good reason to reach out to the business. They're going to be much more likely to like the message, read the message, connect with you and what you're saying, and hopefully reply. So hope that it goes well for you. All right, so in this cold email template, which is a few ideas, we're going to use the concept of ideas as bait to hopefully get people to respond to us. Once they respond, we can start moving things towards a sales conversation and hopefully a paid project. So to do this, you want to study the person that you're sending it to. Who are they? What's their business? What's their niche? What's their industry? And what are they most likely interested in knowing more about? What's some very good potential value that they'll respond back to and want to basically know? What are these ideas? What are you suggesting? How might you make my business better? So the better your idea of the ideas, the more likely people are to respond back and to be curious enough to write to you and see what it is that you have to say. And then you can use that momentum to try and move things forwards. So use the template down below, come up with a good idea for the ideas, put that into the template, send it out, see how it goes. If it goes well, you can double down, do more of it. If it doesn't, just keep switching up the concept until you see what ideas that people will respond to, and then you have a very effective template. So that's it. Best of luck. Okay, so this template we helped is using a very simple concept. You're taking the past results, successful projects that you've done for other people, and you're showing a similar business or maybe even kind of the same business. Hey, I've just worked with this person. We got these sort of results. I see some potential in your business to be doing the same thing. And this is very powerful. If you can see your best results in the past, and I'll show you how to do that in other parts of this program, look at what you've done and how well you've done it and how it's helped people, and then find similar people who likely have similar problems, and then you present this piece of information. Hey, I worked with this person, it went really well. Why don't I also work with you and help get the results that you want to get? So use this template to do it. Just take your past results, put them in here, and send it to people who likely want the same or similar results. Okay, sometimes when we're cold emailing, we're not going to be very aggressive with trying to move things forwards in the very first email. And this is one of those examples. Who is this person is very simply just trying to get some dialogue going. It's just trying to get a response. And this works very well in a larger business where there's just a lot of people and we might not know who is the actual person to be contacting in the first place. So you can send this out and either way it works. If you're contacting the right person, they'll tell you, hey, it's me, and now you got the conversation going. Or if not, they'll direct you to the person who is the right person, and now they've referred you over. You can kind of use that as leverage, but in either case, you're now talking to the right person. So this isn't an email that's going to be a huge jump towards landing a paid project, but it is a first start, and it's very effective for a bigger business to just start getting that conversation going. So try this out, see how it goes. I hope it goes well. Okay, so look, we're all human. We all love a little bit of compliments. We'd like to be buttered up a little bit. So this template I love is basically using that principle. We're finding something authentic, and I'll come back to that in a second, that we like about this business, and we're just letting them know, and we're using that to hopefully build some connection and rapport and get them responding. Now, you want to be authentic. Don't just go picking something generic and you're like, oh, I love the way you guys post online. And then they're like, okay, that definitely doesn't, feel relevant to us. So you want it to be relevant, you want it to be authentic. So just take a couple of minutes, study the business, study their website, their social media, their content, the projects they've done, who they've worked with, what it is about their business that makes them unique, and find something that you do genuinely like, put it into this template and send it over and use that as a conversation starter. And then the other things in this template to hopefully start getting them interested in possibly working with you and moving things forward. So really hope it helps. Best of luck. Okay, this is similar to the I love template, and it's pretty much doing the same thing in a different way. You're picking a business and you're showing something that you authentically like about that business. So, hey, I've seen the way you did this. I'm really impressed with this. Or I love the way you guys are working on this. I'm really impressed with XYZ, whatever it is. You're using a little bit of flattery, a little bit of a compliment to get your foot in the door, get their interest and attention, and then try and transition to getting them interested in what it is that you do and how you might be able to help them. So use this when you see something that you do genuinely like about a business, you are impressed, put it in this template, send it over, see if you can get that response and get things going. Okay, so the I wanted to ask template is really, really effective because what we're doing is starting the dialogue about a topic that hopefully we can come in and help them with. So you're going to form a question that gets them thinking about what it is that you want to sell them in the first place. So think about what it is that you want to sell them, then what questions line up with that well, and then put that question into this template and send it out to the potential clients that you would like to work with. So for me, I used to do web design. That was kind of where I started with freelancing. So I might ask questions about, are you looking for more clients? Are you looking to grow your business online? Are you looking to show people how good you are, your past results, your experience, your authority? Are you looking at better sales systems to line up warmer leads who are now pre-qualified? Whatever it is, I'm going to ask questions that get people talking and thinking, oh yeah, we could do that in our business, or oh yeah, that would be a good move. And then I can transition into, well, I can help with that. Here's how I've helped other people, and try and move that towards a sale. So have a look at these templates, come up with some questions for your own niche, for your own services that get people thinking and talking about what it is that you hope to help them with. All right, so welcome to the follow-up section. This is where you've already sent one cold email or one sales email to a potential lead, to a potential client, and they haven't yet written back. So this is your follow-up with that first email to get that initial response. And then once they respond, that's in the response section, and then you try line up a sales call. But these follow-up emails are just to make sure that you get that first response from the cold emails or the sales emails that you're sending. So if you've already emailed someone, they haven't written back, they haven't responded, use these different follow-up messages, these different follow-up templates to get that initial response. And then you can go from there with the other parts of this email course to try line up your sales conversation, try get talking, make a deal, close the deal, have a project. So this is a follow-up to initial messages to get that initial response. If you want more help, check out the training video down below. If you're ready to go, just jump into the different types of videos and templates in here that you will see and start putting them into action. You'll notice something in this section, and I'll explain it more in the training. There's some phrases before the templates. These are to let you know when they're likely to work best. Some of them are in the early stages, so initial follow-up emails. Some of them are later, some of them are towards the end. And then there's one or two different techniques like sending videos or bumping the message in different ways. So if you need any more help with that, just check out the training. If you're ready to go, just jump into the templates themselves.
Hey, what is up? So welcome to some extra training to go with the cold email follow-up section. In this section, just before you jump into all the different templates, I just want to show you how it works and the overall idea here. So what we've done so far is you've sent out your first cold email. You would have done that in the cold email section. So using one of the templates in the training that we have there, you send out your first cold email. Now, in an ideal world, and maybe this will happen, it definitely does happen some of the times, somebody responds back to the first cold email and perfect. You go ahead and you set up your sales conversation, whether you're going to meet them in person or you're going to do it over Zoom or whatever sort of way. So they write back to the first cold email, they're interested, you have a little bit of dialogue, you move it towards a sales call, perfect. And we have a section that also covers that when they do respond, how to take it from there and book your sales call. But let's say they don't respond to your first cold email. Well, what do? That's what you do in the section. You have the cold email follow-up, a series of additional emails that you send, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5. We'll get into that in a second. You send these additional emails to try and get their attention, try and get their response. And then when you do, hopefully eventually get a response, you start moving that towards a sales conversation. So to do this, we have a series of different email templates that we can use, and you'll find them in this section. You'll notice that at the beginning of the different templates, there's different words, different kind of tactics that you have options for. So there's early, there's middle, there's later, and then there's these additional ones, video, bump, and final. And I'll explain all of those in just a second. So if we think of sending our initial email and we're not getting a response, what we want to do is plan out a 1 to 3 week follow-up sequence. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with some of these earlier emails, and then we're going to start putting in additional emails over certain days till we basically either get a response or we move on. And you can decide how many you want to send by picking the different options from the selection that you have in this section. So just like the name suggests, the early emails are generally better for sending earlier. The middle ones are generally better for sending middle. And these later ones are generally better for towards the end of the sequence. Now, what about these other options? These are just extra options that you could put in here. Video, if you want to use it, there's lots of different places you could use it. You could actually use it as an early follow-up. You could use it in the middle. I probably wouldn't use it at the end because you don't want to be using the option of a video at the very end of your sequence. It's just unlikely that they're going to respond this late in the sequence. So we want to keep our best material for the earliest. So I would keep your video option over here. For the bump option, this is a very easy option you'll see when you get into the bump templates. So really you could put that anywhere from the middle to the end. So the bump section could go in here. It's not the most high value email. It's just a tiny little thing that bumps up what we've already written. So we want to use that option towards the end. And then the final option, just like the name sounds, is basically a last chance email. So if you use it and you don't have to, that would go at the very end of your sequence. Now I know this is getting a little bit scribbly, so let's just take a look at this in action. Okay, so when you plan out your sequence, it's going to be something like this. You're going to have your day 1 email, which is the cold email you would have already sent. And then if you don't have a response, you're going to start looking at what is your follow-up sequence. Now, there's no right one answer here. There's lots of different ways you can do this, and you can combine the different tactics and templates that I'm giving you, but you do want to plan this out in advance. A thing that I see with a lot of freelancers is they wait until they're not getting a response, and then they start getting a little bit emotional. They're like, oh, I really wanted to talk to this person. What should I do now? Should I email them today? Should I email them tomorrow? And you don't want to get into that situation. You want to plan this out in advance. So before you start sending any cold emails, just plan out your follow-up sequence if you're going to need it. Just get a Word document or a Google document, put in the different templates here, and just plan out how many days later would you send up the follow-up, which follow-ups do you want to use, and in which order do you want to use them in. So for an example on this one, we would send our initial email. If we don't hear a response back within 7 days, we're going to send one of the early templates in this section. If in 3 more days we still haven't heard anything, so this is now 10 days in, we'll send a quick bump email. And then if we still haven't heard anything, day 14, we're going to send the later email. If we don't hear anything after this email, we're just going to leave it. But hopefully at some point through this sequence, we'll get a response, and then we can go from there and try set up the sales conversation. Exact same idea down here. This one is moving a little bit faster, which again is totally fine. You can test different things here. You can move it around. You can try different days, get a feel for what you want to do and what you see working best. So in this one, the person is going to send the initial email, wait to day 4. If they haven't heard anything back, they're going to send one of the early templates. Then 3 days later, if they still haven't heard anything back, they're going to send one of the video templates, see if this person's interested in watching a video about how they can help them. And then if nothing back, another week goes by, they'll send the later email, and that will be their basically final email in this sequence. Okay, one last example here, but I think you're getting it. So in this scenario, someone sends a day 1 email. 3 days later, they send an early email using, again, the templates. 2 days after that, they're going to send one of the middle email templates. Then 5 days later, so 10 days in, they're sending a later one. And then this one, they're finally sending a bump email to just see if they can get a response at the end. Again, you don't have to use any of these. You can completely come up with your own. Just think through it logically. I would give people a few days to read the first email, then hit them up with something high value that makes sense to be at the beginning. Try again a few days later, another high value approach to try and get them to respond, get them to engage, get them to be interested. And then if you wish, you can use a few of these other tactics, the kind of later tactics or the final tactics or the bump tactics, to just give it a last shot. You definitely don't have to do that, but you should either way have 1 or 2 or 3 emails at the beginning to just give yourself the best chance possible. If you just send cold emails and you don't do any follow-up, you're going to miss out on a lot of potential deals. Most people need you to follow up 2 or 3 times until they respond. So you definitely should be doing this. So that's it for this quick training. Check out the section, check out these different options, make up your sequence, and then just definitely follow up with the cold emails that you're sending to give yourself the best chance of success.
Okay, welcome to this follow-up I was doing thing. What are we doing here? We're basically showing the clients how we found them in a high value way and trying to build that extra bit of trust and connection. Now, in your first email, if you already said how you found the business, then don't use this, just use another follow-up technique. But if you haven't, then this is a great follow-up message. You're basically just touching back in, hey, here's how I found you, and then you're adding in a few extra things to try and get that communication going, to try and get the potential client to respond, and then you can go from there. Now, keep in mind, you want to keep this high value. Don't say, hey, I found you because I'm working through a list of 500 businesses and you're number 312 and I want to try sell you this thing. So don't say something like that. Find something that sounds good, that's appealing. Ideally, it's true, obviously. Just put things in the best way that the client is interested in how you found them and that it sounds good and it gets communication going. Some ways that I like to use is on another project, your name came up, or I was researching the industry, your name came up, or I was doing this thing, your name came up. Because it sounds like you're busy, you're working with other people, you're getting results, you're involved in the industry, and then you're naturally coming across these businesses and you're reaching out to them. But there's lots of different things you can also use. You can say you were researching a holiday, or you're looking online, or you're watching content on this platform and you came across the business and now you're reaching out. So use whatever makes sense that's good for you, but just make it appealing so the client isn't like, oh, well, okay, good for you, but I don't want to hear about that. So have something that sounds good, stick it in this template, put it out there, and hopefully it gets a response, and then you can go from there. Okay, super simple follow-up technique here. You're basically just getting back in touch with the person and say, hey, just following up, and then you're trying to add in something into that template to make it more appealing for them to reach out to you. A couple of different ways you could do it. You could add in some extra results. You could add a question. You could add something valuable. Again, just trying to get them interested, get them responding, get them communicating, so then you can move things forwards. This is a very, very easy follow-up. I use this all the time. So hope it goes well. Put it into action. Okay, the reason I reached out. How does this template work? Basically, sometimes clients are skeptical that your initial email was for them. They might think, hey, I'm getting emails all the time. I think these emails I'm getting that people are just emailing whoever, and then that's why they don't respond. So with this approach, what we're doing is saying, hey, the reason I reached out to you is, and then we're trying to give a relevant reason that makes them feel like, whoa, this email actually is for me. This person actually does care about my business, about helping me get better results. And then hopefully that gets a response. So try have something relevant that makes sense in the context of this template. This is why you reached out to them. This is the reason, and hopefully that builds a connection and gets the communication going. Okay, this follow-up works in a few different ways. So by asking who is the best person, we can maybe get the person that we're already emailing to confirm, hey, I'm the best person, and now we got them talking. Or we can get them to reply, hey, I'm not the best person, but here is the best person. So they've also replied and they've introduced this to somebody else. And it's just a good follow-up in general, especially for a larger business where you're just not yet getting communication going. So use this template, see who's the best person, see if you can just get them responding one way or another, and then go from there. Okay, so the do you mind if I share template is pretty simple. It's basically using something valuable as bait. So you've gone off and you've done something valuable, or you made something valuable, you made a video, or you came up with some ideas, or you found this thing, and you're just trying to use that as a bait to get them to like, okay, let's just reply to this person, see what they have here, and see if it can help our business. So of course, you got to go find something valuable, or be prepared to find something valuable, because if they do respond, you obviously want to give them that valuable thing. And I have another section of the program that will help you do that and create it and know how to present it. But for now, you just use this template, you put in the valuable thing, whatever it is, see if you can get the response. If you can, perfect. Now you're talking, you can try and move it towards a sales conversation. If you don't, you just use one of the other follow-up messages. Okay, so I believe we can. What is the idea behind this template? It's just getting more direct down to business. So maybe you've already sent one email or a couple of emails, they're not really responding. So let's just get more to the point. We're basically saying, I believe I can help you in this way. You're laying it out there, and hopefully by being direct and a bit more to the point, you start getting a response, you start getting them interested. There's a few extra things you can add in, you can see down below. You can add in trust or past results or a recent client success, whatever. If you wish, if you have them, perfect. And then there's different calls to action that you can connect this to as well. You'll see some options down below, or check out the bonus call to actions in the bonus section of this course. So pretty direct here with this one. That is the point. We're getting down to business. Here's how we think we can help them. Here's the sort of results we think we can get them. Hopefully that gets them interested and gets them responding. Okay, a good follow-up technique, you don't have to use it, but if you're comfortable on video and you can do a good presentation and you want to make a video or make a loom, then this is a great follow-up technique. There's two different ways to do it. In this template, I'm going to show you the version where you've already made the video and now you're linking to it, which is good because it shows that, hey, this is already done, you can watch it straight away. But the downside is it requires the effort of making the video in advance and hopefully they watch it. So a bit of risk versus reward here. The risk is you're making the video, hopefully the reward is they watch the video and it gets them interested. So if you're using this approach, the video follow-up, this is the template you put it into and hopefully get them interested. I like to use a technique where I basically say, hey, it's this minutes long, and ideally it's shortened to the point. It's this minutes long, and then in the link, I again have because I don't have this massive URL to Loom or something, I basically put in text that says, here's your 4-minute video. And then in my email, I'll basically make that the link and I'll kind of hide the messy link and just make it look nice and clean. And by showing this number, it's showing that I'm to the point. It's not a 52-minute video. It's like a 3-minute video, 5-minute video, 2-minute video, whatever it is. And it just makes it more appealing and more easy to click that link and to actually watch it. So I recommend that you use that technique as well. You don't want to put in some huge goofy looking link in your emails. Keep it nice and simple, and something that keeps it simple is just saying that it is a short video and literally having the length of it on the actual link and within the template itself. You'll see how to do it down below. Hope that this goes well. Okay, in this video follow-up, because we have the other one where we actually have already made the video and we link it in there and we show them that the video is already made. In this one, we probably haven't actually made the video, because if we did, we would just say that we did. In this one though, we're saying we have a video, let me know if you're interested, and then when they show that they're interested, if they do, we then very quickly go off and make the video and then we send it to them. The advantage to this one is you can send it to a lot more people because you don't have to make all the videos first. And then the people that do respond, then you go make the right videos for them. So you can get a lot more personal and you can put more effort into it because you know that the people responding probably most likely will watch the video when you send it to them. So this approach works. It's a good approach and it saves you a lot of time and energy with making videos that nobody watches, because with this one, they very likely will watch it. Use this template to get people interested. When they reply, go make the video, send it to them, and hopefully that gets things moving forwards. Okay, this template, push for a call, we're probably getting into our 3rd or 4th follow-up here. This is getting a little bit more direct and we're just kind of getting straight down to business. We want to get them on a call. We want to talk to them about their business goals, their business problems, show them how we can help or in what way we can help. And we really want this call. So in this template, you're going straight to, hey, let's just have a call, and you're trying to make that as appealing as possible. So don't use this as one of your first follow-ups. Try get communication going probably some other way. But once you're feeling like, okay, I just want to lay my cards out here, see if they're interested, you can use this approach and see if they're ready for a call. If they respond and they say that they are, perfect. Very quickly start sending them, your calendar link or figuring out what their calendar link is. Just get it locked in, get that call set up, and then go ahead. So yeah, use this template when you feel like it's ready to just push for a call and see if you can get a potential sales conversation going out of this person that you're trying to follow up with. Okay, this is another later follow-up. So this is probably not going to be one of your first follow-up messages. And again, it's just getting more direct down to business. At this stage, they might have already gotten a few emails. So you're getting kind of shorter and more to the point to just hopefully get a response, get them to take action. So this template I wanted to talk about is just laying your cards out. This is why you contacted them. This is how you feel you can help them. Are they interested? If so, reply. If not, okay, that's okay. So yeah, use this when you're just getting later in the follow-up game and you just want to directly say why it is that you reached out and how you think you can help this business. Okay, this follow-up technique, is now a better time, is nice for after a couple of follow-ups. So maybe you've been follow up for a week or two, maybe even a month, and now you're kind of using that time as a little bit of an advantage because you're basically addressing it. You're saying, hey, a little bit of time has passed here, is now a better time to talk about this. So you're acknowledging the fact that you've been communicating, at least you have, for the last week or couple of weeks, whatever it is, and you recognize that, and now you're seeing if it's a better time. So it doesn't always work, but it is just addressing the situation as it is and showing that you understand the bigger context here, that you kind of get the situation, and that you just want to see if they're ready to now discuss this, to move forwards, maybe to have a phone call. So this is a good later follow-up after you've sent a couple of follow-up messages. This is a good one to check back in and just see, can you get a response? Can you get them moving forwards? Okay, so a bump tactic is a cheeky little move where you just send a tiny little message that hopefully gets them to respond. And maybe you've gotten this off some people in the past. I've gotten quite a few in my business, and sometimes they've worked, they've got me to reply, and then even once or twice I move forwards and I've done a deal with that person. So what are you doing here? Just a very, very short message. You'll see a couple of different types. One, you send their name with a question mark. Another one, you send a GIF or a meme or just an emoji, and that's it. You just put that one thing in the message, you shoot it over, and hopefully, again, cheeky little move, it gets them responding, it gets them communicating, and then you can move things forward. This is definitely a later follow-up tactic. So this comes after a couple of other messages, because that's the whole point. You're bumping the previous messages. So don't use this too early or it won't make sense. This is better like your third, fourth, maybe even fifth follow-up, especially after some time has passed. Cheeky little move, maybe gets you back in the game. I hope that it does, and use it and see how it goes. Okay, the should we leave it for now template follow-up tactic is pretty much the last message that you're likely to send, at least in this chain of follow-up. Maybe 2-3 months down the line, you hit up this person again when you got some new results, try to get back on their radar. But for now, this is pretty much a last message. It's like a last chance to maybe get them to respond, and you're just addressing the elephant in the room. You've been sending them a bunch of messages, they haven't replied, so now you're just calling that out and you're just letting them know, hey, sounds like this is it. Should I leave it for now? What do you have to say? Maybe it gets a reply, maybe not. If it doesn't, you just have to leave it for a nice period of time. If it does, perfect. Now you're in the game. Try set up a sales call and try move things forwards. So use this pretty much as your last follow-up technique in the chain of follow-up that you have. If it doesn't work, you definitely have to leave a little bit of a pause before you hit them up again. Okay, I will stop emailing. It says it right in the name. This is a final follow-up message. This is like your last snowball chance. You're going to throw this thing, see if it works. If it does, perfect. If it doesn't, you definitely have to stop following up, because you just literally said that you would stop following up. So only use this as a last resort. You don't even have to use this, but if you do want to use it, it goes at the very end. It's a last chance. Maybe they respond. You're just taking one last shot at this. If they do, cool. If they don't, you move on. So hope this helps. Hope that this does get your response. But if not, don't worry about it. There's always more leads out there, lots of different techniques for those other people, and you can get right back in the game trying to get more leads. So best of luck. Hope that it goes well.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to the project issue section. In this section, we're going to look at all those different things that can go wrong during a project. And there's a lot of different stuff that can go wrong, and we should expect some stuff to get off track. If we're planning to have perfect projects where the client send us absolutely everything we need on time, there's zero issues, nothing goes wrong, then we're not planning for reality, because things do happen in projects. It's not a perfect process. We can definitely have systems in place to make it hopefully as good as possible, but things come up, things get a little bit off track. The client has some issues, we have some issues. We need to resolve this. We need to get things back on track, moving forwards to get the best results possible and not get stuck in projects for weeks or for months longer than they need to be. So in this section, we're going to look at how to do that. How can we communicate effectively through email to get things back on track, get the project going back in the right direction, make sure the client is happy, that we're getting what we need to succeed to get the best results, and then the project goes as well as possible. So to kick things off, just in this quick training, I want to give you 3 general tips that I've used over the years. Once you get these out of the way, you can jump into the different scenarios. Okay, tip number 1, be proactive. This is a huge piece of advice. It's something I've used as much as I can in my business, because I just know that it goes the best way possible. When there's an issue, when there's a problem, if you've messed something up, if you've spotted something, if there's some kind of challenge or problem that you're going to have to talk to the client about, do it as soon as you can. Do it as soon as it makes sense. There's no point trying to sit on problems, hide problems, ignore problems. And I've seen a lot of freelancers, a lot of agency owners do this. Something goes wrong and they just freeze. They're like, I don't want to tell the client this is a bad situation. And then they just get stuck. Like, time passes by, a couple of days, maybe a week or two, and nothing's getting done, but they don't want to bring up this issue, and that's just not going to help this scenario. So when you see something that needs to be talked about, when you see a problem, when you see a challenge, you know you're going to have to bring it up with the client. You're going to have to talk to them. You're going to have to address it, send an email, get on a call, whatever it is. Just do it as soon as you can. Just get the pain out of the way, address the situation, and just get it done, because it is going to have to be done eventually. You can't hide some of these problems, and you shouldn't have that mindset. You should be proactive. Just get into it, get it done, address it, and get things back on track. And this rolls into point number 2. Accept responsibility. If it is your fault, if it's something that you messed up, if it's something you could have done better, if you could have had better systems in place, better clarity, better communication, then accept that and show the client that you get it, that you will try and improve, that you are genuinely trying to make things as good as possible. And then also accept responsibility for next time. How do you improve this on the next project? How do you avoid this on the next project? How do you keep dialing in your business, keep dialing in your systems, keep dialing in your process, so that your business can keep improving? You can be worth more money, you can be getting better results, making your clients happier. That all starts with accepting responsibility. If you deny responsibility, so something goes wrong and you say, whatever, the client should have done that, not my problem. Oh, I don't, I'm overworked, I'm underpaid. Okay, you're not going to get anywhere though, because you're not looking at how to improve. You're not accepting responsibilities for those different things. So it's hard to do this, but this is what you have to do to progress your business. Look at what you could have done better. Look at what your business could be doing better, your systems, your processes, communications, all these different things, and just accept responsibility when it is your responsibility. And I would argue it kind of always is your responsibility, because this is your project. You're the person that people are coming to. Point number 3, set your standards. Look, if you don't have standards in your business, if you're going to allow people walk all over your business, do whatever they want, then that's exactly what's going to happen. Think of different restaurants. Think of a real fancy, elegant restaurant. You got to be on the waiting list for a couple of weeks. You get in there, you're going to be looking your best. You're going to be behaving your best. You're going to be very, very conscious and careful about how you're doing everything. Now think of McDonald's on a Saturday night after the nightclub closes. People are going in there doing whatever they want. They're throwing burgers. They're, getting sick in the corner. There's no standards. Nobody cares. The place is an absolute mess. This is how it is with your business as well. You can let people come in and do whatever they want and just go crazy, or you can set the tone. You're a proper business with proper standards. You're professional. You want to help your clients. You love your clients. You want to do the best that you can, but you do it in this way. This is how your business runs. This is how you expect your clients to show up. When you have that attitude and you dial it in over time, your clients are going to get better and better. They're going to be people who want to work with you because they see you care about your business, they care about their business, and they want to work with the best. And these bad clients, these terrible clients, they're going to go somewhere else. They're going to go to the people that they can run all over and do all this nonsense, because they know that's the only sort of people that are going to accept that sort of behavior. So you get the clients you deserve. That starts with setting your own standards and then enforcing your own standards. And this isn't about being, a dictator and being crazy and being really aggressive with people. No, it's just being professional, showing people, hey, if you work with me, this is how we do it. This is what I expect. This is what I'm going to give you. And this is what I expect from you to get the best results possible. It's polite, but it's firm, it's professional, and people respect it. The right sort of clients respect it. So that is it for the intro of this training. Let's now jump into the different scenarios, see what different strategies and approaches we can use. And then of course, let's look at the email templates themselves. So that's it for the intro. Catch you in the different scenarios. Hey, what is up? And welcome to the pricing issues section. Now there's a lot of different pricing issues that we might have, but I do want to go over a common underlying theme with a lot of pricing issues and show you how to solve it. And that is value versus price. Now, often when you're dealing with a client who's not happy with the price, in fact, it's that they're not happy with the value. And what I mean by that is, as long as it's a good client, they probably do have the money. But when they're saying, oh, we're not happy with the deal and this seems too much and the price isn't right and we don't like the budget here, the amount, a lot of freelancers take that to mean that it should be cheaper. So what they do, instead of fixing other issues, is they just start reducing the price. They say, okay, sounds to me like you're not happy with the deal. Why don't I drop the price and I'll just do the same for less, which is a huge mistake. Or they're just like, I'll just drop the price and I'll do less work, which is also a mistake, because often instead of the amount of money being the issue, what the real issue is actually the value. The client just doesn't see this deal as being exactly what they want. Now, maybe they want more of the same thing. Maybe they want the focus on something else. Maybe they want extra things added in. But whenever price is the issue, I would investigate value first. is this really what they want? Do they want this as much as they want something else? How can you make this deal better for them before you go adjusting the price? So with this mindset, this better mindset, what you do whenever there is a client issue, and this is the client over here, whenever there is a client issue around price or the value of the project, or they're not happy with the project plan, and this is obviously before you kick off the project, you're still trying to lock down the deal here. Whenever there's any of these sort of issues, dig into first, are they happy with the deal itself? So ask these sort of questions like, okay, with this project in mind, are we focusing on the right things here? Is there anything else I could be doing to make this more valuable? Is there anything else that you feel we need to add in here? What can make this a better deal for you that's worth the budget that we're talking about here? So you don't adjust the budget, you try adjust what you're actually going to do for that budget first and see if you can fix the issue before you drop the price. Now, let's say you do that and you still have some price issues. Okay, there's still a few more things we can do, and they are covered in this section in the different templates, but just to quickly cover them. One thing is to split the project up into different stages. So you'll do one stage of the project, the client will pay you, then you'll do another stage, they'll pay you for that stage. And this just makes it easier for them to pay the same total amount. So the total amount hasn't dropped here, but they're just going to pay it off in stages. So maybe that's better for their cash flow or for their situation. Another option here is, okay, they do need to come down on the price. So what we're going to do is drop the price a bit, but we are going to do less work. So we're not just going to do the same amount of work at a cheaper price. We're going to say, okay, so we see that you need to come down on the budget. We get it. So looking at this project, let's focus on the most important things and let's drop the price and then just do these only most important things. And we'll drop this other stuff that isn't so badly needed for now. So all of these different approaches here are basically keeping the maximum profitability in your business. You don't want to just go around the place reducing your price every time the clients have a complaint. You want to first dig into, can you improve the value and keep the same price, or maybe even increase the price first? That should always be the first thing that you try and do when you're trying to troubleshoot these issues. Second thing is, if it's just the cash flow issue, can you split up the payments, or can you do one part of the project first? Or if you really do have to drop the price, what can you cut out so that you're doing less work and focusing on what's most important? So that's it for this quick intro training video. Inside these different sections, you're going to see a lot of individual tactics for more specific situations. So really hope that it helps, and I wish you all the best.
All right, this is a scenario you probably dealt with before. Somebody reaches out to your business and they're like, hey, why don't you tell me how much what you do costs? The problem is they haven't told us anything about their own business or what they need and why they need it and how much it can help them. So I generally try and avoid this situation. I don't want to give out my prices without knowing who I'm speaking to and why they might want to buy and how much money they potentially have, because it just doesn't make sense. Often you're just guessing and you don't want to guess in your business. So the templates down below are going to show you how to respond to a request like this. You obviously don't want to brush off the client and they go somewhere else, but you don't want to just throw out prices that mean nothing, that might not be the right price for this person. So use the templates down below to deal with these different scenarios, and the ideal thing that you're trying to do is move towards a call, a sales conversation, either on the phone or in person, where you can ask the proper questions and figure out what exactly they're trying to do, and then you can price it accurately and correctly with the best chance of closing the deal. So use these templates when the scenario comes up, and I really hope that it helps. All right, a challenge we often have in freelancing or running an agency is there's somebody out there who'll do it for cheaper. And oftentimes these people are communicating with our clients or potential clients and letting them know, hey, I'll do this for a lot less. Why don't you work with me? So sometimes these clients will reach back out to you and they'll be a little bit confused. Hey, there's someone else who's saying they can do it for half price or a tenth of the price. What's the situation? So when that happens, use this template to basically let them know, hey, you get what you pay for, and if you pay really cheap, you're not going to get good results. I'm over here, I want to get you the best results. I want to actually help your business in a real way, and that means that you're not going to get the cheapest price, because often that's not the best real deal for your business. It's no results, it's not good work, these sort of things. Now, of course, you don't want to say it that directly, that aggressively. So I have a nice template to make it easy to package this up in a way that the client understands they get what they're paying for. So if they want good results, we're the right people to work with, because that's what we're going to be focused on. So use this template when this scenario comes up, and I really hope that it helps you just deal with this situation and show the client that you are the right person for the job at the right price if they're serious about this project making a real difference to their business. Okay, sometimes in your freelancing business, you're working with a client, things are going great, and they want a lot of work done at once. They're giving you a lot of different things, a lot of different projects, and they're trying to package it all together. And oftentimes that means they'll ask for a discount. They'll say, hey, since I'm giving you this much work, can you give me a good deal? Can you give me some price off? Can you reduce it down? Give me a little bonus, whatever it is. Now, sometimes you can do it if it makes sense. I'll leave that up to you. But often it's not good for you because you're doing even more work with not so good profit margins, good for the client, but you're losing out on all the money, and now you're doing all this work for weeks or months. So use this template down below to deal with that scenario and to show the client, hey, I really appreciate you giving me all this work, but it's not in your interest that we have a discount here because I need the right resources, I need the right funds here, the right budget to do the best job for each one of these individual things that are important for your business. So use this template when the scenario comes up to avoid that discount on a lot of work all at once. Keep a good budget and a good profitability for each one of the separate parts, and make sure that the client is still happy and that they understand why that is the case. Okay, sometimes in your business, you have a client who wants to work with you. They know what they want, they're ready to move ahead, but they don't have all the money all at once. So what do? A lot of freelancers drop the price. That is not what I recommend, because now you're doing the same amount of work for less money, less profitability, and you're teaching your clients that you'll just drop your price whenever they ask. Instead of changing the price, I recommend that you change the deal and that you either do less work, but just as profitable for the amount of work that you're doing, or you break your bigger deal into smaller deals and have your client pay it off over time. These templates will show you how to deal with these scenarios and how to express that to the client and make a deal that works for you and works for them, and that keeps that profitability in your business for the amount of work that you're doing, and that you're not just reducing your prices and doing a lot of work for not that much money. So use these templates when these scenarios come up, and I really hope that they help. Okay, the old deposit scenario, basically always get a deposit, but everyone gets burnt on this a couple of times and they learn that lesson. I definitely have, where you start some work and the client's like, yeah, don't worry, let's start now, I'll pay you later. And you're like, okay, I'm getting paid. And then you run into a ton of issues. The client stops paying you, or they're not a great client, or a lot of other stuff that you want to avoid. So how do you avoid it? You get the deposit first, make the client commit before you commit, and you do that by having them pay a deposit. Now, there's different percentages you could go for. I used to always go for a clean 50% upfront, 50% when the project goes live. We'll cover that more in the contract section. I'll show you exactly how to work that. But this template here is just dealing with that particular scenario where you want the deposit. So send this template when you need it. Don't start work until you have a deposit. It's just better for your business in so many different ways. And this template will show the client that that is the case and that they need to pay the deposit before you will start on the project. Really hope that it helps. Okay, something that all freelancers, all agencies notice in their business as they get more experience and they get better results and they do more of the work that they're offering is it just stops making sense to charge by the hour most of the times. And that's because as you get good, you can work faster. So charging by the hour basically punishes you for being effective with your time and getting results quicker. So what do? Use this template to show a client when that is the case that, hey, with this particular project, with this particular job or this thing you want me to do, it doesn't make sense to charge by the hour because that's just not good for my business and it doesn't make sense for you either. This template will show you how to word it so the client understands that that's the case, and you instead switch the focus to the results, to why they're paying this in the first place. And it doesn't have to be about hours, it's about the work that you're going to do and how much that's going to help their business and what amount it makes sense for them to invest to get those sort of results, to get that help. So use this template when it comes up to avoid hourly pricing, but still close the deal at a good price and reward yourself for being fast and doing good work in a short amount of time. Okay, sometimes in your business, you're working with clients that you like, you're doing good work, they're liking the work that you're doing, but after a time they start to ask you, hey, can we lower the price on what I'm paying you? Can I get this for cheaper? And that's not so good for you. You don't want to get paid less for the work that you're already doing. But how do you deal with this scenario? This is a client you're already working with. What can you say to keep things moving forwards? In this template, I'm going to show you how to do it. You need to dig in basically to why is this? Is it, they don't have enough money? Has something changed? They don't see the value? Is there some other type of work that you could be doing instead? You want to dig into that and find out what is going on so that you can deal with that situation rather than just dropping your price. You don't understand why, and that's not good for your business. And often it's not good for your client's business as well. A thing that I'm trying to communicate in a lot of these different videos is often it's not the price, it's the deal. So when an issue comes up at price, we want to investigate the deal first. Is there a better way to do this deal? Could we be offering different things? less things, more things, and then see what that scenario is before we start adjusting the price. Because if we adjust the price, it just means that the client's giving us less resources, which often means we can help them less, which isn't good for them. It's not good for us. So use this template when it comes up to see what's going on and then deal with the client on the deal side before you start adjusting your prices for no reason. Okay, we all know that sneaky client that during a project that was going well, all of a sudden you check the messages or you check your inbox and there's a little bit of sneaky work that they've put in that they want you to do and not get paid for it. Now, of course, that shouldn't be the case. You're a business, they're a business. If they want extra stuff, they can pay for it. You're happy to help, but you should be changing the deal to account for the extra work. This template is going to show you how to do it in a polite but firm way, basically telling them, hey, no problem doing this, but it does mean that we have to adjust the deal or adjust the project to account for this extra work. So use this when it is needed. You should be getting paid for all those extra things that weren't included in the original project. That's fair for you. That is more than fair for them. They're getting a good deal. And if they want extra work, then they can pay for it just like any other business. So use this template when you need it, and I really hope that it helps. Okay, sometimes in your freelancing business or in your agency, you're working with a client and they start running out of money and they start letting you know, hey, we can't pay you anymore, but can you just keep doing a little bit more work because we really need this project to do X, Y, Z, or whatever it is. Now, this is a risky scenario and it's very risky for you because there's no guarantee if you continue working that you're ever going to get that money back. Me personally, what I prefer to do is to pause the project, let them know, hey, I am willing to help and I'll be ready to go, but when you're ready to keep paying me for the work that I'm doing. I don't want to take the risk that down the line they make this money back and that they pay me, because it is risky and I've gotten burnt on this in the past. It is your choice. Maybe you take that risk. I recommend that you don't personally. Pause the project, show clients that they only get work done when they have the money to afford for it. Just like any other business, I can't go stay in a hotel for free or have a meal for free and let those people know, hey, I'll pay you when things are better in a couple of months. Pretty much all services require money up front. Our business should be no different. We need to get paid for the work that we're doing as we do the work, and that is how we should operate, I believe. So use this template when it comes up to deal with that scenario, to let those clients know we're ready to go when you're ready to pay us. So when you are, let us know and we'll keep going. For now, the project is paused. Really hope that this helps. I know it's a delicate situation, but this template should make it as easy as possible to communicate that with the client and show them that this is a fair arrangement and that you are there ready to help when they are ready to restart things. So hope it helps. Best of luck. Okay, so this template deals with those scenarios where you're working with a client or you're about to work with a client and they want you to work even faster for whatever reason. Now, if possible, let them know that is possible, but you're going to charge extra for that service, which is more than fair. A lot of businesses do this. Think of Amazon, you order something, you pay for faster shipping. This is the exact same. When you do work faster, it means you have to prioritize it. Maybe you have to work extra days or work the weekends or extra hours, or you have to move their project in front of another project. Or even if there's kind of nothing going on, like you had no other projects and you're happy to do the work, you should still charge extra because you're just doing things faster, and that is something that people should pay for. It is something that your business can fairly charge extra for if people want that service. So a client comes to you, they're asking you to do something faster, sure, no problem, but there is an extra fee, and if they're happy to pay it, then you can move ahead. This template will show you how to set it up. You just basically let them know as quickly as possible that you have no problem, that they have to pay an extra fee, and once they agree to that, you can go ahead and get started, and hopefully you can do it on time with the deadline that they have. So use this template when it comes up. It will just make it as easy as possible to get them to agree to that, and then you can get started and hopefully help them out as much as you can. Okay, sometimes in your business you have a great client who wants you to do a very, very, very small project. What do? You don't want to charge them by the hour because it doesn't make any sense. It's like a couple of minutes or it's only an hour or two. You don't want to charge them by the project because it's such a small project. You don't want to have an unfair price. So how can you set it up in a good way? What I like to do is have a minimum rate. Basically, no matter how small the job is, you have a minimum amount of hours at a certain price. And if it's less than that, then they still have to pay it. But if it's a little bit more as you do the project, maybe it takes a few more hours than you thought, that's okay. You just add it on top. So this is what I recommend you do in that scenario. Have this minimum contract for these different little tiny projects that come up. It's still flexible if it needs to be, but there's always a base amount that you're going to get paid regardless. And that just covers you, and it makes sure that you're not running around the place doing 10-minute jobs, an hour, 5-minute jobs, hour and a half job over here. 30-minute job over there. You just avoid it altogether by having this base amount that just protects your time and protects your focus. So use this when it comes up. It's really, really effective. I've seen people make $600 for like 50 minutes work using this because that's all the client needed and they're happy to pay for it just to get that tiny little thing that they needed. And then that person, you, is getting rewarded as well. So really hope that it helps. Put it into action when needed. Best of luck. Okay, sometimes in your business, your prices are going up for one reason or another. Maybe you're more experienced, maybe you don't have as much space or capacity to take on new clients, you're already full, you want to get more picky about who you're working with, or maybe you just want to increase your prices. World's always getting a little bit more expensive, you want to charge more, you want to make more profits. That's totally fine, it's your business. This is the template to use when that is the scenario, to let clients know that your prices are going up and to let them know in the right way so that they can see the advantage to keep working with you and keep paying that higher price. So use this template when it comes up to hopefully keep the right clients paying you that little bit more, and they're still happy to work with you and they're still happy for you to do the same work but at a higher price because of what's in this template. So hope that it helps. There's different scenarios here from when you're going from very low prices to normal prices, normal to high, high to even higher, and just slight different words, phrasing that just makes it a little bit easier for the different scenarios. So really hope that helps. Best of luck. Increase your prices when it makes sense, because why not? Your business, you should be nice and profitable and you should be working with the best clients who are willing to pay you the most for the work that you do. Okay, another increase your prices template here, but this isn't for ongoing clients, this is for returning clients. So maybe they worked with you 3 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever it is, they hired you in the past at a certain rate and now they're coming back wanting more work or the same work, but your prices have changed, they're now higher. What do you do? This template's going to let you know what to say, how to phrase it in the best way so that they still are happy to work with you at your new price and that you get paid and you're doing even more profitable work. Life goes on, your business goes up, prices always change. Hopefully they're always getting higher, not lower. And this sort of scenario does come up. So this template will help show people the value of continuing to work with you at the new prices, and hopefully you can still close the deal and get paid. So really hope that it helps. Put it into action. Best of luck. Okay, unfortunately, sometimes we're working on a project and there is payment issues. For one reason or another, the client stops paying us and they're not really communicating what's going on, when they're going to pay us again, what's happening, why they haven't made their payment. So what do we do? Our only option is to start pausing the project and using the pressure of continuing the project to hopefully start getting paid again. These emails, and it's a sequence here with a couple of different emails, will walk you through the different steps. Obviously, at some point in these steps, if they start paying, you don't keep going, you just go back to working normally and make sure you're getting paid and keep moving the project forwards. But if they keep not paying you, then go through this full sequence, pause the project, let them know that it's paused, and then hopefully that pressure will get them back at some point or another to pay you again and move the projects forwards. If they come back, get paid first. Don't just take their word for it and start the project again. Get paid first and then get back into the project. So try to keep ahead of yourself, or at least on par with the work that you're doing. So don't do a lot of work and you don't know if you're getting paid. Keep getting paid as you're working to reduce the risk in your own business. Really hope that this helps. Best of luck. Okay, this isn't an ideal scenario, but let's deal with it with this template and hopefully it can help. So you've done a project with a client without a contract, which is a big no-no. You've sent the final files, you've sent over the project, it's live, or they have everything that they were meant to pay for. Also kind of a mistake, but let's just say you now in that scenario, what do you do? How can you get paid when you have no leverage, no contract, they have everything, and you're waiting on the final payment? Hopefully this template will help. It's trying to use different psychology tactics and a bit of reciprocity, showing them, hey, we've done a good job, we helped you, now it's your turn to pay and be a good business and pay our business. So hopefully it works. There is no guarantee, which is why this situation is so risky in the first place, but this template is designed to give you the best chance possible, and I hope that it helps. Now, if you are in the scenario and you do get burnt or you don't get burnt, either way, next time avoid this scenario by using the rest of the email course and the contract section and the different advice in the sales section and all those different parts to just avoid getting into this situation. But I know that doesn't help when you're in it, so hopefully this template helps for now and it gets you to get that payment, close off this deal, and then get a little bit smarter in your freelancing business as you move forwards. I've been in this situation, I know the pain, I know that it sucks, so hopefully this template will help you get that payment. Hey, what is up? Welcome to the project issue section. In this section, we're going to look at all those different things that can go wrong
during a project. And there's a lot of different stuff that can go wrong, and we should expect some stuff to get off track. If we're planning to have perfect projects where the client send us absolutely everything we need on time, there's zero issues, nothing goes wrong, then we're not planning for reality, because things do happen in projects. It's not a perfect process. We can definitely have systems in place to make it hopefully as good as possible, but things come up, things get a little bit off track. The client has some issues, we have some issues. We need to resolve this. We need to get things back on track, moving forwards to get the best results possible and not get stuck in projects for weeks or for months longer than they need to be. So in this section, we're going to look at how to do that. How can we communicate effectively through email to get things back on track, get the project going back in the right direction, make sure the client is happy, that we're getting what we need to succeed to get the best results, and then the project goes as well as possible. So to kick things off, just in this quick training, I want to give you 3 general tips that I've used over the years. Once we get these out of the way, you can jump into the different scenarios. Okay, tip number 1, be proactive. This is a huge piece of advice. It's something I've used as much as I can in my business because I just know that it goes the best way possible. When there's an issue, when there's a problem, if you've messed something up, if you've spotted something, if there's some kind of challenge or problem that you're going to have to talk to the client about, do it as soon as you can. Do it as soon as it makes sense. There's no point trying to sit on problems, hide problems, ignore problems. And I've seen a lot of freelancers, a lot of agency owners do this. Something goes wrong and they just freeze. They're like, I don't want to tell the client this is a bad situation. And then they just get stuck. Like time passes by, a couple of days, maybe a week or two, and nothing's getting done, but they don't want to bring up this issue. And that's just not going to help this scenario. So when you see something that needs to be talked about, when you see a problem, when you see a challenge, you know you're going to have to bring it up with the client. You're going to have to talk to them. You're going to have to address it, send an email, get on a call, whatever it is. Just do it as soon as you can. Just get the pain out of the way, address the situation, and just get it done, because it is going to have to be done eventually. You can't hide some of these problems, and you shouldn't have that mindset. You should be proactive. Just get into it, get it done, address it, and get things back on track. And this rolls into point number 2, accept responsibility. If it is your fault, if it's something that you messed up, if it's something you could have done better, if you could have had better systems in place, better clarity, better communication, then accept that and show the client that you get it, that you will try and improve, that you are genuinely trying to make things as good as possible. And then also accept responsibility for next time. How do you improve this on the next project? How do you avoid this on the next project? How do you keep dialing in your business, keep dialing in your systems, keep dialing in your process so that your business can keep improving? You can be worth more money, you can be getting better results, making your clients happier. That all starts with accepting responsibility. If you deny responsibility, so something goes wrong and you say, whatever, the client should have done that, not my problem. Oh, I don't, I'm overworked, I'm underpaid. Okay, you're not going to get anywhere though, because you're not looking at how to improve. You're not accepting responsibilities for those different things. So it's hard to do this, but this is what you have to do to progress your business. Look at what you could have done better. Look at what your business could be doing better, your systems, your processes, communications, all these different things, and just accept responsibility when it is your responsibility. And I would argue it kind of always is your responsibility, because this is your project. You're the person that people are coming to. Point number 3, set your standards. Look, if you don't have standards in your business, if you're going to allow people walk all over your business, do whatever they want, then that's exactly what's going to happen. Think of different restaurants. Think of a real fancy, elegant restaurant. You got to be on the waiting list for a couple of weeks. You get in there, you're going to be looking your best. You're going to be behaving your best. You're going to be very, very conscious and careful about how you're doing everything. Now think of McDonald's on a Saturday night after the nightclub closes. People are going in there doing whatever they want. They're throwing burgers. They're, getting sick in the corner. There's no standards. Nobody cares. The place is an absolute mess. This is how it is with your business as well. You can let people come in and do whatever they want and just go crazy, or you can set the tone. You're a proper business with proper standards. You're a professional. You want to help your clients. You love your clients. You want to do the best that you can, but you do it in this way. This is how your business runs. This is how you expect your clients to show up. When you have that attitude and you dial it in over time, your clients are going to get better and better. They're going to be people who want to work with you because they see you care about your business, they care about their business, and they want to work with the best. And these bad clients, these terrible clients, they're going to go somewhere else. They're going to go to the people that they can run all over and do all this nonsense, because they know that's the only sort of people that are going to accept that sort of behavior. So you get the clients you deserve. That starts with setting your own standards and then enforcing your own standards. And this isn't about being, a dictator and being crazy and being really aggressive with people. No, it's just being professional, showing people, hey, if you work with me, this is how we do it. This is what I expect. This is what I'm going to give you. And this is what I expect from you to get the best results possible. It's polite, but it's firm, it's professional, and people respect it. The right sort of clients respect it. So that is it for the intro of this training. Let's now jump into the different scenarios, see what different strategies and approaches we can use. And then of course, let's look at the email templates themselves. So that's it for the intro. Catch you in the different scenarios. Okay, trying to land new projects when you're fully booked. Now, I've seen a lot of freelancers over the years basically turn down paying work because they're like, well, I got some projects going on right now. I don't have space, so I can't accept these new projects. That's not the case. Look, a lot of business owners are happy to wait a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of months to work with you, especially if they've heard about you, if you have a good reputation, if they feel like you're the person for them, they might likely wait. So what we want to do is basically tell them, what is the scenario? Hey, we're busy right now. We got some projects going on right now, but that's okay. You just hold on here for a while and we will be able to work with you. We will be able to get these sort of results or whatever it is that they're after. Now, what you also want to do is not just say that. You want to also get them on a call, close this deal, get a deposit, lock it in. Because if you don't, time goes by, maybe they change their mind, something else comes up, someone else comes along, whatever it is. So we don't have to work with them right now, but we do want to get paid right now. And this is the email you want to send. Basically tell them, hey, I'm busy, but that's okay. I can work with you soon. You tell them when. In the meantime, let's talk, let's lock in this deal, find out what you want, and let's get things going. And this is nice in their mind because they're like, oh yeah, we can get ready for when this project is ready. And this is in the template, but you're telling them, let's get this locked in so we can start to prepare. We can start to get ready. You can start to send me maybe some information, these sort of things, as long as you have that deposit. So basically send over this template, see if they are interested in waiting a little bit. If they are, jump on a call, do the sales conversation, lock in the deal, and then you can do any prep work so that you're fully ready to go when you actually do have time to start the project. So hope this helps. Best of luck. Okay, increasing project budget. Sometimes we set a budget, we close the deal, we think all is well, then we start the project and we realize, whoa, there's a lot more work here than I thought there was. I didn't price this correctly. So what do? We don't panic, we don't freak out. We contact the client using this template and basically let them know, hey, we're still keen here to get you good results, still definitely possible, but we need to have a conversation, or we at least need to go back and forth here and just figure out a new budget to make this possible. There's a lot more work than we thought there was, and here's what we need to adjust and why. And keep in mind, always make this from their point of view. Why should they increase the budget? Because really they have to do what it is that they're trying to do. Why did they hire us in the first place? Let's focus on that. They want these problems solved. They want these sort of results. They want this sort of outcome. Cool, still possible, but here's the new budget that we need to have to make it happen, basically. So use this template, send it over, get a conversation going. Sometimes if it's a cool client, there's a lot of trust and they're okay, it can all happen through email. Sometimes you're going to have to get on a call, discuss it, kind of resell the deal a little bit. But much better to do this at the start when clients can definitely see that you're being honest and open about what's going on, than it is kind of halfway through the project when you're like, oh, and we need all this extra money because I knew all along that it wasn't enough. So it's better to do this as early as possible. If you need to adjust it later, I'll show you how to do that as well. But when you spot it early, contact the client using this template, let them know, have that conversation, have that discussion, and increase the budget to where you think it needs to be to get them the sort of results that they hired you to get them. So hope this helps. Best of luck. Okay, so sometimes you want to increase the project budget, but you're working hourly. So basically you agree to work hourly. You said, hey, it's probably going to take this amount of hours. But then when you start the work, you start to quickly notice, oh, actually, we're going to need a lot more hours to do what we're trying to do here. So what do, you send them this template, basically let them know the situation. Hey, this is what's going on. Here's how I priced it originally. Here's what I thought the situation was. Now, here's what I see the situation is. Here's what we're going to need to get the sort of results that you're after. And you just get approval basically so that they know what is up. They're still paying you the same amount. It's just more work because you've discovered that it's a bigger problem than initially thought. This is totally fine. In other industries, this happens all the time. You get in like an electrician into your house. They think it's going to cost X amount. They tell you this is the estimate. Then they start working and they figure out, oh, there's a lot more work here. There's a lot more damage. we're going to have to do XYZ, and the budget goes up. So a lot of people in other industries expect and are okay and see this kind of thing all the time. I think a lot of freelancers though don't realize that this is possible, and they kind of suck it up and they end up doing all this extra work and not even get paid to do it. So don't do that. Get paid to do the work that you're doing, and just communicate it well with clients. Hey, I thought it was going to cost this much, but now I see this is the scenario. Here's what we have to make. Here's the new estimate. Are you okay with that? And pretty much most clients will be, because you're communicating well and you're explaining the situation well. So use this template. Hope it goes well. Best of luck. Okay, sometimes you're working on a project and not only is the budget wrong, but the whole scope is wrong. You just basically didn't realize what exactly was the situation. You said the plan was going to be one thing, you said the price was going to be another thing. Then you get into the actual project and there's all this extra stuff, there's all this extra work, and both the scope and the price are now totally off where they should be. So what you do, you don't panic first off. You just basically let the client know this is the situation. You're most likely going to need a phone call, but send this template first, fill it out, and then basically get that communication going. You just have to be upfront with the client. Hey, I thought this was going on. We made this plan, we made this price, but now when I look at this, here's what the situation is. And clients appreciate this because they don't understand these side of things as well as we do, or they will be doing this work themselves. So sometimes they think it was one way, but then it is another way, and we need to educate them. We need to show them the reality of the situation so we can adjust it and get things back on track. So if you're dealing with a good client, they'll be totally fine with this. But of course, you need to tell them, and you need to get this communication going and probably have a conversation and just be upfront with them. Just run through the details. This is what's going on. We thought it was this way. Here's this, new reality. Here's what that means. Here's the different parts. Here's what you want to do if you want to get that same result that we talked about, and just basically resell the project. Come up with a new plan, attach it to a new price, and then close the client on this new direction forwards. Most clients will be okay with this. You'll save the deal, you get it back on track. If not, if there's an issue, if they don't have the money or something, then just pick off a piece of this bigger project that you can do for now, price that separately, and then if possible, you come back later and you sell the rest of the project as they get more cash flow, as you get them results. So hope this helps. Put it into action. Best of luck. Okay, when you need more overall project direction. So sometimes you start a project and the budget was good, but as you get into the work, you realize, hold on, we haven't talked about a lot of this stuff with the client, and you're not so sure how to move forwards, exactly what to do. There's new parts of the project that you're after uncovering. There's some sort of problem that comes up that you don't quite know how the client feels about this. You've noticed something technical or something else that you need to discuss with the client to understand the direction to go forwards. So what you do, just communicate this with the client, get some answers, maybe get on a conversation, but at least get some emails going back and forth and figure out how the client feels about it, what's their input, what's their feedback, what's their suggestions, and then you got clarity on the project and you can get back into the work and start moving towards that result. So common trend here with all of these templates, good communication. We're being proactive, letting the client know, start the dialogue, figure out what's the new solution, what's the new direction, and then get back into it and start taking more action. So use this template, put it into action. I hope that it helps. Okay, so you need to request more project information. Pretty common scenario actually that comes up in the beginning of the project. You request a certain amount of information, content, access, input, whatever it is, and then throughout the project, you just need some more information. Because doing a section, or you're doing some part of the project or some different stage, and you didn't ask all the questions you should have at the start of the project. No worries, we basically just make a list of whatever it is that we need and we send it over to the client using this template. So again, very common, and like most things, you'll see this common trend. I like to be proactive. So when this comes up, I'm not going to sit on it, I'm not going to wait on it, I'm not going to delay a week or two. I'll just put it together, figure out exactly what I need, and just let the client know, hey, I need this information, trying to get the best results possible. This would really, really help. Can you send this over to me? And then maybe we jump on a call, or maybe they just email back and forth, or some Loom videos or whatever, but using this template to get it going and then figure out what's the best way to get that information. So hope it helps. Put it into action. Okay, needing an emergency call about the project. Unfortunately, sometimes in a project, something goes wrong that requires immediate input, immediate feedback, or discussion with the client. We can't sit on it. We can't just send emails slowly back and forth. We need to talk directly to the client as soon as possible. This is a template to use when this happens. It's unfortunate, it's frustrating, it's annoying, but when it does happen, the best thing to do, send this sort of template, adjust it of course, and then get on that call as soon as possible and just clear the air with the client, see if you guys can come up with a solution together and get things back on track. So hopefully you don't have to use this, but when you do, it is here, and I hope it helps you to just get through the situation as quickly as possible, resolve whatever problem it is, and then you're back in the clear and you can get back to taking action in the project. Okay, scope creep for existing clients. This is probably the number one requested email template for this section. Super annoying when clients just start sending us a bunch of different stuff, a bunch of different ideas, suggestions, extra plans, and they're not in the original plan, not in the original project, definitely not in the original budget. So what do? We use this template and we quickly try nip it in the bud and just let them know, hey, I see what you're saying. I see these extra ideas, these changes you have, these extra things that you want, but these aren't included in what we talked about. So we can do them and add in an extra price, or we can leave them and just go back to the plan. Which do you prefer? And either way, we kind of win, because if they don't want to do it, we're back to the original plan. If they do want to do it, we're now making extra money and we got some extra project work, which is nice. So use this template when that comes up, send it. If there is issues, I have other templates in here on how to deal with that as well. So hope this helps, put it into action. Best of luck. Okay, so client requests outside project scope. Very common scenario here. We kind of have one or two other templates that deal with this in different ways. In this approach, we're looking at trying to use what the client's suggesting and direct them into two different ways. One is they pay us hourly for these extra changes or suggestions or ideas that they have. The other one is maybe we actually have a breakout project that we can have a discussion about. We can price it completely separately, and it's just now an extra project, extra budget, more work and more money for us. So instead of trying to deal with these changes and include it with the original project and trying to do all this extra work and not getting paid, we just give them these two options: hourly work, extra project. Which do you prefer? And there's kind of a third implied option here, which is they don't actually pay for either and we just go back to the original plan. So you have those three different options. And in each case, you're winning because you're either making more money for more work, or you're just sticking with the original plan and making the money that you've already agreed upon. So use this when it comes up. Very handy email template to just nip it in the bud, get it back on track, and either get paid extra or just stick with what you already have, which is totally fine. So that's it. Use this template when it comes up. Hope that it goes well. Okay, the client trying to add free stuff to the project. Let's have a little heart to heart here for a second. You're running a business and a business has to be profitable. Otherwise, there's no point in running it. Just go get a job or something. So look, obviously you do want to be running a business. So what do we need to do? When the client wants extra free stuff, you can sometimes maybe throw stuff in. If it's a really good client, it's a big project and you're just happy to throw in a little bit of extra something for free. Okay, but a lot of the time, just charge them for stuff. Imagine you go to a restaurant and I order the steak, but then I want a cheesecake, and then I want some extra fries, and then I want an extra lemonade. The restaurant isn't going to start just throwing in free food because the steak costs a lot of money. They're going to add all this stuff up and they're going to charge me at the end plus table service plus a fee plus tax, whatever. They're making sure that they're getting covered for every separate thing that I order to that table. Same with you in any project. If the client comes along and starts adding in extra stuff, they want extra little things, they want this little extra job done. Fine, yeah, that's cool. Let's add it to the total. Let's make our business profitable. Let's keep the project making sense for us as a business. So use this template when it comes up. Don't be scared to charge for extra things that clients want. Don't just keep adding stuff into the same project. You're just losing your profitability every time you do that. It's more work. You're getting paid the same amount. So that means you're making less because you're doing all that extra work. And that's just not good for your business. It doesn't make any sense. So the client wants extra stuff. Cool. Use this template to tell them how much it's going to be. If they want to do it, they pay. Perfect. If they don't, you go back to the original plan, which is totally fine as well. So hope this helps. I kind of more wanted to get this mindset into you. You're a business. Charge for the work that you do. Charge for every bit of work that you do. And don't just keep adding in free stuff because you want to please the client or something. That's not how you can run your business. And the client has to respect that and understand it. And this template will show you how to do that. So hope it helps. Best of luck. Okay, sometimes you have a client who means well, but they're just sending way too many requests and too much communication and too many suggested changes. And especially in the beginning of the project, this can drive you absolutely nuts because instead of just making progress and figuring these things out at the end, you're stopping and starting, you're going back, you're changing things, you're discussing this little detail, and you're getting absolutely nowhere. So send this template when it comes up. This template is a little bit firm. It's not harsh, but it's definitely like, hey, here's how we're going to do things. But sometimes that's what you need to do with a client like this that just won't stop suggesting changes. So you can adjust this, of course, if you need to, but use something like this. And you're basically just telling them, hey, I hear what you're saying, and we can definitely address all of these, but let's do it at the end of the project so that we can keep making progress for now and keep the momentum that we have. A very logical approach that makes sense, because a project that keeps stopping and starting is not going to get anywhere. You have to do most of the work first and then do all the little cleanup things at the end of the project. Just makes the most sense. You get the best result. So that is it for this template. Use it when it comes up and really hope that it helps you out. Okay, we probably all had this scenario. The client has too many bad project ideas. They're suggesting stuff that you just think or know is not going to get the best result possible. So what do? Use this template. Basically let them know, hey, we can do this if you really, really insist, but not a good idea. Here's why it's not a good idea. Here's what I suggest instead. Now, we do want to be careful. We don't want to just run straight over their idea. Try and understand, where are they coming from? Why are they suggesting this? What is the end result that they want? So then we can change the way that we're trying to get there, and we can suggest the best way to get there. So use this, basically nip it in the bud a little bit, tell them, not the best idea. Here's why it's not such a good idea. And here's some other options that we can do this instead. Which of these options do you prefer? So we do have to step in. We are the expert when it comes to this part of their business. We're running this project. We're the person they hired to help us get them the best results. So when we feel that they're making a decision or a choice or a suggestion that's not in their best interest, we do have to let them know, and we have to get it back on track. So use this template to do so. Tell them the situation, give them some options, see which one they prefer, and if needed, maybe just have a phone call, discuss it, and explain your point of view and why you are making the suggestions you're making, and why their suggestions are maybe not so good, or exactly why it is a bad suggestion. And of course, do it professionally, but do show what you believe is the best course of action and explain it so your client understands. That's it for this video. Use this template when it comes up, and I wish you the best of luck. Okay, late payments, super annoying. We obviously want to get paid for the work that we've done. Now that we've done the work, where's their money basically? So if they're not paying, what do we want to do? General approach, you start soft. General approach, you start soft and then you dial it up. So you start with nice friendly reminders. Hey, the bill is missing. We haven't got paid. This deadline's coming up, or this deadline's already passed. We're now expecting payment. And then if you're still not getting paid over time, quite quickly, you start to ramp these up and you get a bit more firm, a bit more aggressive, and a bit more, hey, where's the money? You've missed the deadline. If you don't pay it by this time, this is what's going to happen. Here's the extra fee, or here's the penalty, or whatever it is. So one general thing to keep in mind here, and I know it's not covered in this section, but you do want to set the expectations at the start of the project. You either outline this in an email, or you say it on a phone call, or it's in your contract, or it's in whatever they sign, the invoice when they start the project. You want to be clear about how you're going to get paid towards the end of the project, or as you do the work. What is your payment plan? When should they be paying you? How much are they going to pay you? What happens if they don't pay you? How long of a delay until that action, the penalty and whatever it is, how long that happens after the missed payment, and so on. So you do want to have those expectations in place, but use this template at the end of the project, or whenever it is that you need payments. Send this over and then ramp up the pressure a little bit. Give them a little bit of time, but if they're still not responding, they're still not paying, then ramp up that pressure and start kicking in these different things that happen when they're not making payments, and do your best to basically just get paid. It is what it is. You sometimes do have to put a little bit of pressure. Keep it in mind, of course, if a client is particularly bad at paying you, then of course don't work with them again, and just leave it at that once you do finally, hopefully, get paid. So that's it for this scenario. Hope it goes as well as possible. It's always quite an annoying situation, but hopefully these templates make it as easy as possible to get paid. Okay, project feedback needed to move forward. So of course, we know the scenario here. You're going through the project, you've done some work. You want to make sure it's all good before you move on, so that the client approves it and you don't have to come back to it later. Use these templates to ask for that feedback. Maybe this is early in the project, maybe this is later, maybe this is at the very end.
you can just adjust this template for your particular scenario. Use this template, and then if they don't give you feedback, I have some follow-up emails that you can send here also to make sure that you get that feedback that is needed. So whenever you need feedback, come to this template, adjust it as needed, send it out. You have the follow-up emails if also needed, and hopefully you get that feedback quite quickly. You're back on track and you can move to the next stage, or you can finish the project if you're at the end. So hope this template works, hope it helps. That's it. Best of luck, put into action. Okay, final project phase feedback. This is a little different than the other feedback template. In this one, we have a very specific goal. This is when you complete a major part of the project and you do not hopefully want to come back to this later. You want to make sure that the client fully agrees that this part of the project is done, so that when you move on, they accept that you locked in those changes, and if you do have to go back, that you'll be charging the client extra to do so. So use this template when that is the scenario, when you're after doing a certain part of the project that you do not want to be coming back to later. Send this and make sure that the client agrees, they are fully happy with this, they like the work, they accept the work, they agree that this stage, this phase is now completed, and then you can move on. And if it comes up, if the client tries to change something later, you now have this that you can rely on to say, hey, we already agreed on this, we already locked this in, so we can go back to it, but that means changing a lot of things now that we've moved forwards, and that's going to cost you this amount of money, or this is how you're going to do it, hourly or whatever it is that you're going to charge them. So use this template when it comes up, when you want to lock in some changes in a phase, in a stage, so that when you move forwards, you don't want to be coming back to this, or if you do come back, you're going to get paid to do so. So that's it. Check out the template. Best of luck. Okay, last round of revisions. This is a really good template to use when you are in the last round of revisions, because if you don't tell them and they don't know, or they just forgot, then when it comes to the next round of revisions, you have this really annoying, awkward situation. They're after sending over some changes, some revisions, and you have to let them know you're not getting any more rounds. So if you want these extra things, now you got to pay. So much better to do that before that's needed. Do it on the last round of revisions, letting them know, hey, the future changes that you send here will be the last changes, the last revisions included in the original budget. That way they send everything and then hopefully it's over. But if they do come back with more later, then it's very clear that they're going to have to pay for this, and you avoid that awkward situation, that maybe frustration on the client's behalf. So use this template when it is the last round of revisions. You're telling them in advance that, okay, send me whatever changes you have left, tell me what else you need to adjust with this project, but this is the last round of revision. So when you do this and I do it, that's it. And now we've completed our agreement with the original terms, with the original budget. So make sure to do this. Maybe they won't have any more changes, absolutely fine. But if they do, now you're guaranteeing that you're going to get paid for those extra changes, because it's very, very clear that they already used up their last round of revisions. So that's it. I think I've over-explained this, but anyway, jump into this template, use it as you're getting through those revisions, and this thing is going to make sure that you get paid for all those extra changes that the client might have, which is exactly what you want for your business, for your time and your energy. So that's it. Best of luck. Okay, missing project deadline. So a lot of these different templates we've looked at is when the client is kind of messing up, or we're trying to avoid them messing up. But in this particular scenario, this is where we've actually messed up a little bit. We've realized, at a certain stage that we're not going to meet the original deadline that we set. When we closed the project, we would have mentioned a certain week or day or month or date, whatever it is. And now it's coming up to that time, we're like, oh, we're actually probably not going to get this done when we said that we would. So what do? Back to our kind of core philosophy here. We accept responsibility, we're proactive, we say it up front, and we just get straight down to the point. We let the client know, hey, we're going to miss this deadline. And then we do these other things here in the template. We give the reason, we give some clarity, we tell them what's now going to happen next, and hopefully how we can make it up to them and still get the results that they're after. So use this template when it comes up. Don't try and hide from it. Don't, this isn't school. We don't wait till the day of the exam or the day of the homework to say we don't have it. Address this as early as possible. When you know you are going to miss the deadline, send this over, address it, own it, show the client you accept responsibility, and then show them what you're now trying to do to get things back on track. And then if possible, give them a new deadline, and then do your best, obviously, to commit and make that new deadline. You're going to get it done before then. So use this template when it comes up. Hopefully this doesn't happen, but if it does happen,
templates here if you need it. Okay, letting clients know about a holiday. Look, we're real people too. We're not just freelancing robots who work all year long and don't need any time off. So we're gonna have some holidays, and chances are we're gonna have some clients while we wanna have some holidays. So what do? We communicate in advance that we're taking a bit of time off, and we use this template to basically send that information and show them what's gonna happen. Now, sometimes you might have a team in place or you have someone else that can help them out in the meantime. Sometimes you don't, and that's totally fine. You just let them know, hey, I'm going on holidays throughout these days. I'm not going to be available. Here's what's happening with your project. During the holiday, nothing's going to happen, but here's what's happening before the holiday. Here's what's happening afterwards. Here's what to expect. We're still going to get these results. We're still going to meet our deadline. No reason for you to worry. The most important thing here, like always, communicate in advance. Be proactive. Accept responsibility isn't really applicable here, but be proactive, communicate well, and just be okay with this. Every business on the planet basically goes on holidays. No one's working 365 days a year. We're normal people. This is to be expected. So we just communicate this in advance, tell them what's up. It is what it is. As long as we're not messing up some deadlines, and as long as we haven't promised that we'll be available every day and then we're not, there's nothing to be worried about. This is normal. Clients accept it. We just need to communicate in advance so they know what is up. We go on our holidays, we enjoy our holidays, we come back, we get back into our work, we get our clients the results that we promised. So don't feel guilty, I guess, is the main message that I'm trying to get here. You're a person, go enjoy yourself. This template will help you to do it by communicating clearly in advance so the clients know what to expect. So enjoy your holidays. If you are going on holidays, use this template when you need to, and have some fun away from your business, come back, and then you can get back into doing your best work. All right, firing a client. I don't know if you've already done this, but if you haven't, maybe this seems kind of crazy. You're like, fire a client? I don't want to ever fire a client. But sometimes projects go bad. Sometimes they get stuck. Sometimes you start working with someone who seems like they were a good fit. They were normal, they were professional, and then throughout the project, it just turns into a disaster for whatever reason. And let's not throw blame here, but you get to a scenario where you know it's time to go separate ways. This client, for whatever reason, is going to be better off doing it by themselves or hiring someone else, and you're definitely going to be better off not working with them. So what do? You might have to adjust this template a little bit depending on your different scenario and what stage you're at and how the payments are working. But in general, you're cutting the cord. You're letting them know, just like a relationship, hey, I'm out of this. Best of luck, but this isn't going any further. So use this template when this is a scenario. If you know that you need to split ways, just like everything else here, we're going to be direct, we're going to be proactive, we're just going to get it done. There's no point sitting in a bad situation. And I've seen this with other freelancers, weeks, months, working with a client they don't want to be working with, but they just don't know how to break up and go separate ways. If you know you got to do it, you just got to do it. Use this template to get it started and just split. And you don't need to over talk about it. You don't need to drag it out for weeks or for months. Just give them what they need, figure out the best way to just end the contract, get out of the deal, send them on their way the best that you can, and then stop communicating. You move on, you find better clients that are treating you better, you get back into different projects that you much prefer to be doing. So use this template when it comes up. Sometimes you just have to fire clients. It is what it is. That's just the game of business. And when it happens, hopefully this template helps. So wish you all the best. Tricky situation, but just do what's right for you, for your mental health, for your business, for your focus, your energy. If you need to part ways, you got to do it. Use this template. All right, what is up? Welcome to the repeat business section. In this section, I'm going to show you how to make more money from the clients that you're already working with, which is so important in your freelancing business or in your agency. You don't always be going for the next project and the next project and the next project to just get some more money in your business. You want to land deals for sure, new deals, new clients, of course, but with those people, once you do one project, why not do another project with the same people? Why not keep offering them more and more services to keep helping them grow and improve their business and get bigger and better results? So you want to make longer lasting relationships and offer more things to the same people to make your business as profitable as possible. In this section, I'm going to show you the templates and the tactics on how to do that, and also how to use your past clients in different ways to get referrals, to get warm leads, to get testimonials, to get case studies, reviews, whatever it is, to just use those past clients in the best way to keep improving your own business and making it more profitable and more successful. So that is it. Jump into the different sections here, see the different tactics, and then use them when it makes sense for your own business. All right, what is up? Welcome to the repeat business section of this email course. In this section, I want to show you how to make more money in your business from the clients and the projects that you will already have. Now, if you already have clients when you join this program, perfect. You can use this straight away. If not, once you start doing some projects, come back to this section and then put what's in this section into action to help you make more money. Okay, so getting into it, there's only 3 ways to grow your business. There is to get more clients, then have higher prices, and get more repeat business. So using Apple computers as an example here, pretty much biggest company on the planet, they get more customers, so they get out there, they're always letting more people know about their Apple products, their phones, whatever it is. So they're always getting more people to move into the Apple brand. Then they increase their prices all the time. So if you go back and look at the price of an iPhone 10 years ago, you look at it now, you look at it the next launch, their prices in general are always going up. Then the third thing, once somebody gets one Apple product, they start selling them a bunch more stuff. And if you are an Apple user like I am, you know how this goes. You buy the laptop, then you're getting the charger, then you're getting the earpods, then you're getting the earphones, then you're getting the tablet, then you're getting the next phone. They're always selling more and more stuff to the new customers that they get into their brand, into their business. Now, for your freelancing business, it is the exact same. You need to be using these same principles to grow your business. You need to be getting more clients, increasing your prices over time, and getting more repeat business from the different clients that you have. You don't want to just do one-off projects and then you're always looking for the next client. You want to have clients that you bring in, you help with one thing, then you help them with the next thing, then you have maybe an ongoing service, you have a retainer, you're upselling them to different things, you're introducing new services. You're always continuing those relationships as long as you can and making them as profitable as you can. So how can you get started doing that? That's what I'm going to show you in this section. But with a quick overview, what we're going to do is we're going to use our past projects to, 1, help us get more clients. Now, how will we do that? Well, we go to these past clients that we've already worked and we get reviews, we get results, we get testimonials, we get case studies. These are things that we can leverage from our past work to make it easier to get more clients. And you'll see that in the cold emailing section of this program. We want to have results to use. We want to have case studies. We want to have these big success stories. But to have those, we need to ask for them. And that's what we're going to start with in this section, is just getting those results, getting those testimonials, getting those reviews. Now, once you have those and you start leveraging them, basically this is more of a sales thing, which isn't directly covered in this course, but it's going to become a lot easier to increase your prices when you can show more of your value. And again, this just starts with getting the results, the case studies, the testimonials, the reviews out of your past clients, getting those stories. And then as you present those stories to future potential clients, they're going to be more interested in working with you, and you can justify higher prices because you're showing the value of your work in the past, how you're capable of helping businesses in a big way to make more money or grow or progress or whatever it is that you're doing for your clients. Now, final thing here, and this is probably the main part of this section, it's going back to the clients that you've already helped with one thing and seeing what else can you offer to them. What else can you do? They still have a business, so it's not like you fixed all their business problems forever. They're gonna have a lot more problems, a lot more goals, a lot more challenges, a lot more things that you could be helping them with. So in this section, I'm gonna show you how to go back to your past clients, to the clients that maybe you just helped right now, or you helped a few months ago, or even a few years ago, hit them back up and just try and get more projects, more work out of those same people. This is win-win. It's good for our business and it's also good for our clients' business. They want to continuously progress. They don't want help just one time and then they get to a level and they never move forwards. Once you help them with one thing, they often want the next thing. So I'm going to show you how to do that in this section, how to approach your past clients and get them interested in working with you more and hiring you for extra help. So that's it for this intro training video, just more of an overview really. Jump into the different sections here, start trying it out, putting it into action, and just getting more out of what you already have in your business. All right, once any project is done, what you want to do, you want to check in with that client, make sure that they are 100% happy. If they are, these templates are going to show you how to either upsell them, so sell them into another service, another product that you can offer them, help their business in a different way to keep moving forwards, or how to use them for a review or testimonial to try leverage that past project in a different way. Show, hey, I'm getting these results over here, and then take those to different clients and try land different projects. Also, if the client isn't happy, so if there's some kind of issue or problem or just something that could have been better, this template is going to show you that situation and then how to deal with it and to make sure that they are happy so that you have a bunch of happy past clients and your business is always moving forward. So have a go with these templates, see how the client responds, and then use the proper scenario for their response to grow your own business or just make sure that your clients are happy and leverage that past work the best way that you can. All right, referrals.
We all love them because it makes our life easier. When one person recommends us to another person, that person is much more likely to buy from us because there's a lot of trust built in from us working with somebody that they already know. So how do you get them? This template's going to show you how to do it, and it's also going to show you a little trick to make it more likely for people to recommend you. Sometimes even when you do good work, the client doesn't really want to put too much effort into recommending you because it's just more effort for them, and why should they do it? They have their own problems to look after. In this template, I want to show you a little kind of trick, a tactic that you can use to basically encourage them to recommend you. So we're going to use either a little bit of a financial reward, basically some money. If we get a deal, we'll kind of kick back some to the person who recommended us, or just a little bit of free work to, again, just make it more likely that they recommend us and that there is some reason or some encouragement for them to put our name out there to their own network, to their own connections, to their friends, whatever it is, and basically be promoting our own business. I think it's a good idea that you do this because it does motivate people to recommend you. If there's no reason to recommend you, you might get 1 or 2 referrals. But if there is a reason and it helps the person who is recommending, there's a lot more basically chance that they will recommend you and that they'll do a good job doing it. So I like to give these little kickbacks, these little rewards to the people who recommend me. I recommend that you do it as well because you're much more likely to get a lot of referrals, and this template will show you how to do it. So I hope it helps, and I hope it gets you a lot more projects from the people that you're already working with. All right, requesting a testimonial. So this template's going to show you how to do it, but also an extra strategy, because I've learned from my own business in the past, when you just ask someone for a testimonial, okay, some people give you a good testimonial, but other people write something that just doesn't sound that good. So the project could have gone great, you might have got massive results, but their testimonial, their review is kind of average and doesn't read all that well. So what I've started doing in my own business and what I recommend is, instead of asking them for the exact testimonial itself, you just ask them for general feedback. They answer a few different questions about the project, and then you turn that into the perfect testimonial, and then you get their approval to post it online. This usually goes a lot better because you can be the one who makes things sound as good as possible. It's still the real project, you're not making anything up here, but you're just presenting it in the best light with the right kind of sentences, the right phrasing. You're making that review, that testimonial as good as possible. The client approves it, and then you can post it online, or also using this template, you can hopefully get them to post it on your Google Business Review or whatever it is. So check out the strategy and the templates down below. Really hope that this helps and that you can get some really, really good testimonials, as they will help you grow your business and get bigger and better clients. All right, this is a funny template, and it's one that you don't have to use, but I did use this in the early days of my business and it did help me a lot. Basically, when I wasn't charging high prices and I wasn't so sure if I should charge high prices, and I didn't have the confidence just yet to increase my prices, I sent one of my clients a template just like this, and we actually did it on a phone call as we were talking, but using the same words, the same phrasing. And I asked them this question about, like, hey, if we were doing the project again, now knowing the sort of results that I can get you and seeing how much I've helped your business, what price do you think would be a fair price for these sort of results? And at the time, I was charging like $100 a project, and they told me, like, I would pay $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for work like this. And it really blew my mind at the time. I was like, oh, I gotta increase my prices. And I did. And the next project I did, and then I went higher and higher. And this helped me a lot to very quickly move up the different prices and have confidence in the sort of rates and the amounts that I was charging. So if you want, you can use this as well, especially if you're not currently charging high prices. Once you do a good project, send the client this sort of template, or talk to them on the phone and say the same things, and basically say, hey, looking at the results that I got you now, how much do you think those results are worth for your business or for another business? See what amount they have to say. If it is a high amount, much higher than what you're currently charging, then increase your prices and be confident in the rates that you're charging, because a business owner is directly telling you that, yeah, you're worth a lot more than you're charging, so why not increase your prices? So that's it for this template. Really hope that it helps, and it also allows you to increase your prices like it did for me. All right, offering a retainer, it is a great way to make more money out of the clients that you're currently working with. How do you do it? My recommendation is look at what you're currently offering your clients, the different service or services, and then see, what do they need next? What do they want to pay for weekly or monthly from this point forwards, based on the work that you're doing, or based on where their business is already stuck, or just what they want to see more of in their business. So try think up of those different options, different services, different products that you can now offer your client, and then basically use this template to send it out and see which ones, maybe one, maybe more, that they're now interested in. If they show interest, just move it towards a sales conversation, find out why they want it, how it can help them, what's going to make the difference here that they would want to see, that they will then pay for it, and then try close that deal. And now you have a reoccurring client. You have money that's coming into your business every week, every month, which is perfect. This is what you want to be growing your freelancing business. And it all starts with a template like this. Come up with the different options, use this template, send it out to the clients that you're currently working with, that you've finished work with, and then see if they're interested in any of these services that you could be offering them. So that's it for this template. Really hope that it helps and that you can get that reoccurring revenue into your business. Okay, offering extra services. This is a little bit different than a retainer because it's not something ongoing, it's more just something one-off. So often when we do work for our client and we finish one piece of work, it solves the problem that that project was for, but often it creates another problem or another challenge. No business is happy being stuck in the exact same place forever. So once we do one piece of work and we move them forwards, there's often the next step that they now want to take, and let's see if we can offer them something for that step. So basically, look at where you're getting your clients to, look at where the first project has now got them to, and then what might they want next, what might be an extra thing or something additional or another part of the business that you can help with, and then use this template to basically pitch them on that. And again, try making more money out of the same clients, and not in a bad way. We're just continuously moving their business forwards. We're looking for valuable ways to help them. They're happy to pay us for more and more results. We're happy to provide more and more services to keep progressing their business. So come up with the ideas first, then use this template to send it to your clients. See if you can close some more deals with the same people. Always good for your business. So that's it for this template. Really hope that it helps. All right, offering a new service. So sometimes in your freelancing business, you're going to pick up a new skill or you're going to see a new opportunity and you're going to bring in a new service that you could be selling to your clients. So what should you do? My advice, go look at the clients that you've already worked with over the last few weeks or months or years and basically use this template to let them know, hey, I'm doing this new thing. It can help your business in this new way. Are you interested in being one of the first clients that I help? So perfect template to just stack up a bunch of customers straight away when you have a new service. Plus, once you get those people results, now you can use those case studies, those testimonials, those reviews, leverage them and basically get more projects with this new service and really just snowball it from the very beginning. So hope that this helps. Basically use this template anytime you have a new service, hit up all your past clients and get those deals going straight away. All right, sharing other client wins. This is a tactic I love to use. It's a little bit sneaky, but not really. Basically, once you do a great project for one client, you take that result and you go show the other clients, hey, I just worked with this person over here. Look how well it went. Look at the big results that we got. Look how much, customers I got them or how much sales I helped them make, whatever it is. And you're basically getting those other customers thinking about working with you again. They're like, oh yeah, that person does do some pretty good results. And oh yeah, I would like to have these sort of results in my own business. And it just gets you back on the radar for possibly more deals, more service, more whatever it is, more help with their problems, moving their business forwards. So don't use this like every week, but every so often, once you have a great project and you see the right opportunity, put it in this template, send it out to the right past clients and just get back on their radar, showing them the sort of work that you're doing, the sort of bigger results that you're now getting, and seeing if you can build up some interest in those past clients to work with you again in whatever way that they need help. So really hope that this helps. Put it into action and try get some more deals lined up. Okay, a time-sensitive offer is basically putting a little bit of pressure under people to go ahead and take action. It's using a little bit of FOMO tactics, as in, hey, there's only a limited amount of space or a limited amount of time to get this opportunity. Are you interested? And this does help people to move forwards and take action a lot quicker than normally, but you do have to be a little bit careful. You don't want to be spammy and you're sending this stuff out every few days and people are like, whoa, this person is always sending me these sort of emails. So use this carefully, but you can use it every so often, especially if it is true. So if you're running a business that you only have capacity for a certain amount of people and that is running out, or the time period is running out where people can use the opportunity to work with you, then let the other clients know, especially the people who are on the fence, hey, there's only a limited amount of spaces left here, or there's only a limited amount of time left here. If you're interested, you better sign up now or all these places might be gone. So that's how you use this template. Just use it in the right way. This isn't something you want to use when it doesn't make sense. There's other templates that you can definitely use instead. But if it's the right opportunity and it makes sense, using this will be really, really powerful because it gives people a very strong reason to take action as fast as possible. So have a go at this template if it makes sense, and really hope that it helps. All right, seasonal check-ins. I really like these. I use them a lot in my freelancing business. Just looking at the different points of time in the year where it makes sense to check in with a client. So for example, the end of the year. How's their year been? Do they need any help before the year ends? Or the start of the year. Hey, it's a new year. What are you trying to do? Do you need help getting going? If so, let's do it together. And then throughout the year, there's other different points. I used to like the beginning of the summer, the end of the summer, and a couple of different times in between. You can get a little bit creative if it makes sense. So use these when it makes sense. Reach out to your clients, get back on the radar, check into whatever time of year it is and whatever way that they're probably thinking during that time of year, and see if you can use that to get more deals, get more clients interested in working with you. All right, industry news. I really like this, and I've taught this to a lot of students in the past, and some of them have done super well with just this tactic alone. Basically, looking at different things that are happening in the industry, and it will depend on what sort of clients you're working with and what industries that they are in, but keeping an eye on those industries and then letting your clients know, hey, this thing just happened, hey, there's this update, hey, there's this change, hey, this new thing just came out, and you're using that for the client having a strong reason to take action and to do something that's going to be good for their business. So you're basically out there looking for the opportunities for them, looking for the changes, for the updates, for the switches, for the new thing, and then you're basically letting them know, hey, this is what's going on, there's a huge advantage here, why don't you be one of the first businesses to take advantage of this new thing, and I'll help you do it, and this is how it's going to be good for your business. So if you can do this in the right way, it's really, really powerful. You just have to find real things that make sense. You don't want to tell them some little bit of news that doesn't matter and then you're trying to land a deal. You need to find the right moments, the right opportunities, those changes that really can be good for a business if they make use of it. So you do have to pay attention to your clients' industries, but if you are and you use this template, it can be really, really powerful to sell. So hope that it helps, and I hope that it gets you some big results. Hey, what is up? So welcome to the bonus section part of this email course. In here, I'm going to add in extra resources over time to just make your life easier. So check out the different bonuses in here. They're just different little bits that's going to make it easier to write an effective email, get the results that you want, get paid, or move the project forwards, or whatever it is that you're trying to do. If you have any suggestions or something that you think would go in here that will be valuable to other people, just let me know. I'll show you how down below. And that is it. Welcome to the section, and I really hope that it helps you out. All right, so welcome to the bonus subject lines. These are the part of the email that goes on the outside. It's what someone sees in their inbox before they click. And this is a question that I've gotten over the years lots of times. What subject lines should I use? What subject lines sound good? What's a different one that you can use that is effective? So down below, I've put a lot of different subject lines. Just pick one that's suitable for the type of email that you're sending, the type of scenario. And this should help you to just make sure that people are opening these emails in the first place and then reading what you have to say inside. Just keep in mind that pretty much all of these are for cold emails or some kind of sales email where the person doesn't already know you. If it is an email where they already know you and this is during a project and it's some kind of project scenario, then for the most part, you can keep it pretty simple and just send what is the context of the situation. And since you already know the client, they're going to open the email anyway. So that's it. Check out the subject lines down below, and I hope that they help you out. All right, so welcome to the bonus greetings. This is basically the very first part of an email. So they're like, hello, good morning, or hello, John, or whatever it is. This is that part of the email. And I know it's kind of funny to have so many of these in here, but a lot of people have asked me over the years, oh, what do I write if I don't know their name? Or what would I write if I'm just emailing a business and I don't know who's the right person to contact in there? So I've given you a lot of different scenarios, a lot of different ways to basically just start the email. And you can use whatever one's right for you. There's no right or wrong answer. Lots of these can work in different scenarios. So just pick the one that you feel is best. Go ahead, try it out and see if it works. If you have someone's name, it's usually best to use that. If you don't, there's lots of other options here that are going to work just as well. So that's it. Check out the different greetings, use the one that's going to make the most sense, and just go ahead and then focus on the rest of the email and get that email sent out to the people that you're trying to contact. All right, welcome to the bonus calls to action. So what exactly are the calls to action? They are that bottom part of the email where you're basically saying what it is that you want the person to do. So usually when we send an email, especially a cold email or a sales email, we want someone to do something at the end. We want them to respond back, or to show their interest in something that we talked about, or to possibly get on a call, or just to reply with a bit of information that we're looking for now. So that is the call to action, and there's a lot of different things that you can put in there to start moving the relationship forwards, getting people to respond, trying to move things towards a sales conversation or a sale itself. So basically go through these call to actions, pick out the scenario that's right for you, for what you're trying to do with this particular email, and then just use one of these or adapt it for whatever it is that you're trying to say. So really hope that they help, and just that it makes it easier to line up the emails that you're writing with the goal that you want the person reading the email to do next. So that's it. Check